Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net. Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
Welcome to Sporgy, the show that gives you half-ass sports fans giving their half-ass opinions. And now, here are your hosts.
Oh, it's 152. I'm Chris.
I'm Rich.
I'm the Iceman.
And we are coming off of opposite week in the NFL. But we'll get to that later. Because they were giving out awards. Well, they started giving out the awards anyways in Major League Baseball. So we're going to cover that first. I guess, Rich, you were on the bandwagon of, apparently players are making that jump from player to manager real quickly nowadays, at least in Major League Baseball. Who won the American League?
Rocco Baldelli, who I believe, if I'm correct, started his career in either 2003 or 2004 with Tampa Bay. I know he played like a season with the Red Sox. I'm not really sure who he ended his career with. But I'm like, wait a minute, wait. He won Manager of the Year. Not only is he a manager, but he won Manager of the Year. And he's like 37, 38. I'm like, when we were kids, managers were old guys in baseball.
Yeah.
Like Sparky Anderson was old when I was a kid. When he died, he was ancient.
And Tommy Lasorda, how you doing?
Yeah, Tommy Lasorda was always old. You know, it's just
he just never got any older.
You know, like I understand, like, you know, when you're a kid, everyone older than you that's an adult, you know, seems ancient and all that shit. But like this is, like, seriously, his career ended less than a decade ago as a professional baseball player. I mean, I know he had some sort of, I think he has Lyme disease and another like autoimmune disease or something that made playing really rough on him. So I mean, physically his body, I guess, couldn't handle the stress of day in day out playing. But still, it's like this guy, age-wise, could still be playing in Major League Baseball, and he's the AL Coach of the Year. It's like, okay, I mean, more power to him. You know, he he did with the Twins what every coach has done, what every manager's done. Get them to the playoffs and get them bounced out.
I mean, is that why he got Manager of the Year? Because the Twins essentially just went from one end of the spectrum to the other in like a season?
It has to be, pretty much.
Well, I mean, what else does it take to be Manager of the Year?
Just winning the World Series generally will help you. You can ask A.J. Hinch.
I'm just saying, going from left to right on your spectrum, it's pretty good in a season.
Not denying you there, man.
Looking at you, Chicago.
I mean,
I don't even know who this guy is. I never heard this guy's name until this season when he was manager of the Twins.
Me neither.
Really? Rocco Baldelli?
Yeah.
I just remember thinking he's got the perfect name to play for the Yankees.
Let's say for the Yankees,
Rocco!
the Mets.
The Yankees and the Mets. Yo, Rocco.
Yes, especially since the Mets are in Queens.
Hey, you know what? Back up. If we're going to talk about the Fountain of Youth, I want the cup that Morgan Freeman's been drinking out of, that old son of a bitch.
He's still old as fuck. He looks old as fuck.
But he was old when I was fucking
That's
5.
true. When we were kids, he was an old man. I will give you guys that.
Well,
Between him and Sam, what's his name?
Although, let's be fair. Like, when you're a kid, 40 is ancient.
yeah, but you got
To you.
Let's be honest here. What was his first, for most people, what was his first major
Robin
role
Hood.
that got him attention? No, it was before that, dude. That's for you. Most people, it's like Driving Miss Daisy
Oh, yeah.
or Glory. And in both of those movies, he played guys who were supposed to be older than him in real life at the time. So,
Well, yeah, but weren't those both, wasn't Robin Hood before both of those?
no, God no.
Oh.
Glory come out in like the I think 88,
Glory was such a great movie.
and I want to say Driving Miss Daisy come out in like 89, 90, and Robin Hood come out in 91. I remember that because of that stupid fucking Bryan Adams song.
I think, though, what's his, God damn it. The movie you were just talking about. I think Driving Miss Daisy got him noticed, and then Shawshank made him a star.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I do remember he was in Stand By Me. They used to call me Crazy Joe. Now they can call me Batman. You know, I remember that.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
that was on HBO all the time when I was, a kid.
But I think like Shawshank is what introduced us to the Morgan Freeman that we know now, the narrator, the guy with the huge voice.
But yes, you're absolutely right. It is Lean on Me, not Stand by Me. Stand by Me was the.
No, that was Edward James.
No, Stand and Deliver was Edward James. Almost Stand by Me was.
Yeah, Stand by Me. That's Jerry O'Connell and
River Phoenix.
All right, last thing. What was that white guy's name in Roadhouse? Sam what?
Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott. That's the other guy who never ages. Matter of fact, when he was in Incredible Hulk, he looked way younger than he did in Roadhouse.
See, but that's another guy who's just I think Sam Elliott went gray when he was 30, and he's always had a mustache like he was born in the 1800s.
Yeah, that guy has looked the same age like for the last 30 years. The difference from the dude abides to now is minimal.
Yeah. And all of this, folks, is to let you know that the Major League Baseball, a whole organization doesn't age because that sport doesn't take a huge toll on your body like every other sport.
Yes, I'd like to welcome you guys back to the Projection Booth podcast.
Yes,
back to the sports.
Here we're talking about actors that not only don't age, but were just born old and just have stayed that age all their life. Popped out the pussy, fucking old enough to buy beer and shit. But anyways, it just drives the point home that sports are definitely taking sports are evolving. Remember when John Gruden was called the Kid Wonder in the NFL when he was with the Raiders the first time? He was what, in his early 40s? Yeah. That was 20 years ago. He was in his early 40s, or maybe late 30s even.
Now you got kids half our age coaching the Rams and the 49ers.
Correct. It does make you take stock when you look at Sean Payton's age and you look at your own and you're like, son of a bitch.
How the hell did I not get that opportunity at that age?
Well, it's just,
it's because I was partying.
Well, also, those guys weren't NFL players that went from player to head coach or, in less than a decade. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure Rocco Baldelli played in this decade, in the 2010s. That's real quick.
Yeah, if he's 37, absolutely.
You got Lance Parrish has been coaching in the minors of the Tigers minor league system. It feels like for going on 15 years now. You figure he'd have got a shot by now.
Still coaching?
What's up?
He's still coaching?
I swear he is. Or he was.
That type of shit. Like when I was telling you guys just now that Tony La Russa is now the senior advisor in the Angels organization, where you have Rocco Baldelli doing that, I'm sitting here going, I didn't even know he was still alive.
Tony La Russa?
Yeah. Lance Parrish, Tony La Russa. These are people that I knew when I was literally 4 years old.
They're athletes,
They're baseball
Baldelli's
players.
Last year as a player was 2010, for the record.
There you go.
9 years later, he's the manager of the year. Wow.
He's been coaching since 2015. He was a coach for the Rays for 3 years.
So he went in 8 seasons. He went from player to a head coach, to not a head coach, but a manager. That's a pretty quick ascension.
Yeah, it said he made his debut on opening day 2003. So at this point, his coaching career has been over half it's been almost as half as long as his playing career.
Yeah. So yeah. Well, like I said, it just shows how sports have a different mindset. They'll go younger. They'll go with younger guys. You don't have to have the Bill Parcells. Jimmy Johnson really wasn't that old, but I mean, you know what I'm saying? If you were a head coach and you were younger than 50, I think that was pretty rare when we were growing up. I just don't remember a lot of it.
Well, it does seem now that the door is open for guys to, for younger. I mean, I know we're using the quote younger here, but I mean it's for guys in their mid to late 30s they're what am I trying to say here? Like that, the gatekeepers are gone. They're realizing that guys that age can actually have a good head for the game. And why wouldn't you? If you're able to play it, why wouldn't you? Now, I know being a good player does not necessarily translate to being a good coach because there's leadership skills and all that stuff. But, why wouldn't guys who have recently played the game not have a good head for it? I mean, again, another example, Sean Payton. Look at that guy.
Yeah. Well, I also think that especially in baseball, with the excuse me, with the shift towards more the sabermetrics type stuff, that younger guys are going to be given a chance if they have a fairly strong understanding of that by an organization who is buying into, managing that way, running an organization that way. I mean, yes, it was a movie, but I mean, there's grains of truth in Moneyball. Billy Beane didn't exactly. Everybody in the Oakland A's organization wasn't on board with Billy Beane basically tossing away the old way of thinking about, drafting and signing players, et cetera, et cetera. There was a lot of real shit in that. Like, well, what's his girlfriend look like? If he's got an ugly girlfriend, it means he has no confidence. And it's like, what? What does that got to do with how he plays? No sense. Well, he's got a good look to him. He looks like the All-American kid. Really? Because Babe Ruth looked like the All-American kid, right? Babe Ruth was a mess. If you were going just by physical looks, Babe Ruth was a mess.
Well, after he started drinking and smoking,
Well, he was never like...
You'd be like, are you going to make it to first base? You going to be all right?
Yeah, he was never Mickey Mantle out there. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, and this is from another sport, but there's if you really want to see the difference or you really want to see how little of a difference there is for certain athletes. I remember getting into a discussion with another hockey fan. He's like, well, hockey players today are just in better shape than they were back in the day. And I was like, well, I got this little thing in my phone, or in my pocket called a smartphone. Let me pull a picture of Gordie Howe fishing. And it's a picture of him fishing with his shirt off. And I said, that's Gordie Howe. Gordie Howe didn't even work out, and he was built like that. Now, you going to tell me that the guys these days are in better shape because they got, Nautilus machines? Get the fuck out of my face with that. He was like, well, okay, fair enough. Like, yeah, dude, these are athletes. These are people who are gifted in one way or another. Some people it's in a physique. Other people it's just raw talent. I mean, if Babe Ruth hadn't drank and ate hot dogs, who knows what numbers he'd have put up. If Mickey Mantle wasn't hungover and or half drunk all the time, who knows what numbers he'd have put up.
Same with Ty Cobb.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, too, the three of us have all seemed to be rooting against it, the existence of this podcast, but it seems like sabermetrics is going to be if it not already is, the new way of life in the MLB.
It's not that I root against it necessarily. It's just I feel it dismisses out of hand the human equation. I mean, whereas the old way puts too much emphasis on it. It goes back to our very binary way of looking at things, with us or you're with me or against me. And it seems like a lot of people, especially people that buy into metrics, are like, well, you're either with me 100%. Or you think your thinking's outdated and old.
Yeah, we can't meet in the middle somewhere.
I have had several personality assessments, and they always come back as I have an analytical personality. And I will sit here and tell you could get into analysis paralysis with sabermetrics.
Mm-hmm.
You could just sit there and fucking just over and over again, just sit there and then just paralyze yourself into not making any move.
Yeah, that was one of, case in point, of the quote-unquote old guard, Ron Gardenhire was not a huge fan of sabermetrics. And a lot of the reason was, he's like, you're telling me that I'm supposed to sit there and make a managerial decision based on less than 0.0, whatever percentage of a percentage point? No. You know what I'm saying? Some guys, if they're hot, you put them in. We all remember the American League Championship Series here in Detroit in 2006 with Tigers versus the Oakland A's. And, I just forgot the player's name. Anyways, He was a backup outfielder. When they went to Oakland, Jim Leland started him, and everyone was like,
Donnie Kelly, baby?
No. This is 2006. He was a Latin player. I remember that much. And everyone was like, why is he starting a backup? That's the type of guy you bring in off the bench to pinch run, and then substitute as soon as he's done. That half inning's over. You substitute a defensive substitute for him. You don't start him. And he tore it up, hit a home run that game. And when they asked Jim Leland afterwards, why did you start him in the outfield over your other starters, he said, when we're in Detroit, when's batting practice? Roughly 2.5 to 3 hours before the game. And he's like, he tears it up. And they had a 1 o'clock game that started in Oakland. Now, what time would it be in Detroit? It'd be around the time that he's
4 p.m.
hitting batting practice, yeah, if they were playing in Detroit. And he's like, so I just went with it, and it worked. It's like, now where's the metrics that's going to tell you that? I'm sure it's out there, and I'm sure once it happened and some nerd got hold of it, they crunched the numbers and were like, well, that makes sense from this point of view, and this 1.2% time, it's going to be better. And it's like, okay, whatever. But it's like I say, it's just to me, you hit it on the head. We don't like middle ground in a lot of things in our life these days. Everything's got to be yes, no, black, white, extreme one way or the other. And I don't know, man. I don't know that I buy that.
Somehow the word cuss, the cuss word that is becoming now is compromise. Because when you compromise, you're giving something up. You're conceding something.
That's a dirty word nowadays.
It is. And nobody compromises. Everybody wants to be right. And I've said this so many times, and it's become so true today. It's so true that it sickens me. They would rather kill their mother than say, I'm wrong, I'm sorry. And then on that thought process, they don't want to compromise because that would mean some part of their thinking is wrong, and they're not wrong. They don't understand when you come to them and go, no, I agree with you, this needs to be changed. But I don't think it needs to go this far, let's go this far. And, no. And yeah, compromise is just a cuss word.
If you are a regular listener to this show, what Earl just said should blow your fucking mind. The fact that Earl just said that says we are in dark times, everybody. And Ice, I'm just playing with you, man. Well, no, I'm also just as stubborn. We have audio proof.
We do talk about it on, excuse me. We do talk about it on Regimented quite a bit. That someone who compromises, someone who doesn't adhere to a binary left, right, black, white, whatever, is called a dirty centrist. That's a dirty word these days. Flip-flopper. Yeah. How dare you look at both sides and cherry pick and pick and choose the good parts from both sides and try to put them together and get something done. You're supposed to dig your heels in and make sure that there's no progress unless it's absolutely 100% on the way you want it to be. And it's like, well,
how dare you form an opinion based on new information?
Yeah, So, like I said, I don't dismiss sabermetrics or any metrics just out of hand. The problem is when you grow up with one set of stats and you're looking at them, and then someone walks in and just tells you that's all bullshit, and you go, okay, well then show me how your stats are better. Well, they just are. I just don't accept that. Sorry. If you're going to tell me you got a 15-inch cock, you better fucking show it to me, because I'm not going to believe you. So don't just walk in and say you're the way you've been raised and how people did shit for 100 and some years is all bullshit, and you can just throw it all away. And I go, okay, cool. Well, show me how your way's better. No, I'm not doing that. Well, then you're not backing
show
it
you
up.
Moneyball.
Yeah, and what has Billy Bean won?
The answer is nothing.
Yeah.
Into the playoffs a few times.
Ultimately, the teams that mixed sabermetrics and high payrolls are the ones who've had the most success. Yankees, Red Sox, teams like St. Louis,
Chicago.
So,
Yeah, performance is still a thing. You could throw all the metrics you want at it. But like you said, I'm more interested in batting average. What's his average? What's his average against left-handed pitching? What's his average against right-handed pitching? What's his average against this pitcher? What's his average in this part? You know what I'm saying? Like,
and I understand that saying that putting too much of an emphasis on batting average versus on base percentage. You know, if you got someone at the top of the lineup, you want someone who's going to get on base no matter what, whether it's a walk or a hit. You still have a runner on base. I get that. Okay, but if you got someone batting fourth, you don't want someone who's going to draw walks and that's it. You want someone who's going to have some fucking power, who's going to have a higher slugging percentage to move those people over or drive them home. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, it depends on how you set your lineup. It depends on what type of team you're dealing with. Are you dealing with a team that's a speedy team? You know, I mean, if you remember in Moneyball, one of the things was never bunt, never give away an out. Okay, well, I'm not sure I buy that 100% of the time. You do a suicide.
Sometimes you got to advance the runner.
Yeah, you do a suicide squeeze and you score a run, but it costs you an out at first. I'll trade one out for a run if it's a tight game.
Yeah.
Why not?
If there's a guy at second and there's one out and I have just had a horrible month, you might want to tell me to bunt.
So, yeah, it's just, like I said.
And every team could use a balk player. Looking at you, Roger Dorn.
Oh, what player?
A balk. Hit by pitch.
A balk is
starting and stopping.
Starting your pitching motion and stopping.
Well, what's it called when you get hit by a pitch?
Hit by pitch.
Hit by a pitch?
Well, everybody can use that player.
The guy who steps into one?
Yeah. Roger Dorn for the win. He's my nominee.
But
once the pitcher starts their motion, they have to continue. Ice.
Yeah, they can't stop it and make a pickoff move or something along those lines.
All right.
Balk isn't something that's called quite a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember the first time I saw it called, and I was a kid, and I was like, "What the hell is that?"
Yeah.
And like my grandfather was sitting there going, "I'll try to explain it best I can, but it's not something that happens a whole lot."
It's the baseball equivalent to false start.
Yes, yeah, essentially, yeah. That's a really good way to explain it. He should have probably said that, but I'm sure he was like 12 beers in, so didn't come to mind.
Yeah, right. We spent a half hour on the American League manager. How about the NL manager? It was the Philly, or no, it wasn't. It was St. Louis's manager.
Really?
Yeah,
the World Series manager didn't get a vote in there?
Nope. Mike Schilt. I almost said Schmidt, but it's not Schmidt. It's Mike Schilt. I don't even know who that is.
I don't even know who the hell you are. There you go. Case in point.
That goes back to your old drop. Give him his due.
Give him his due. This is this guy's first manager gig. He has been a coach. He has been a coach for all of 2 years. He was a coach with the Cardinals from 2017, or at least in the show. The Cardinals from 2017 to 2018 as a coach, and the manager of the Cardinals since 2018. I guess he's been in the system for a while down in their for the coach of the Johnson City Cardinals since 2009. But yeah, this guy's just kind of someone that just kind of came out of nowhere apparently. But how often do we see the managers of the year not be the two that went to the World Series? This has to be some kind of anomaly, right?
I'm trying to look at it this way. If you are the manager of the Nationals, and how many years in a row have the Nationals been picked to go to the World Series and they couldn't get it done, and now they get it done this year? It's like you've had all the pieces in place. Why did it take you so long? Like, I almost feel like that. Like, you should have done this. You should have done this.
They had to get rid of Bryce Harper.
Well, I mean, seriously though, it would be like Matt Patricia taking the Lions to the Super Bowl and winning. It's never happened. He had all the pieces, so the Nationals might have had all the pieces that couldn't get it done, But this coach this year, this time, did for the first time since they were formed. I think that deserves consideration.
That's your Detroit bias showing. I'm going to say it's like having Dan Marino and never going to the to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
where you have a Hall of Fame lock quarterback and you never get over the hump, and then all of a sudden you do. Well, you've had the guy to do it. You just never did it. How many years did we hear about Peyton Manning until he won his first Super Bowl? He can't win the big game. Never won it in college. Never won it in the pros.
Well, this is the same thing about John Elway.
There you go. I mean, so it's just, I don't know. It's baseball. Baseball, we've went over this and over this. Anytime any Hall of Fame stuff comes up, award voting comes up, I'm like, I don't understand how half these fucking people vote and what their mindset is. I don't care who there's people, I don't care who they are. They're not a first ballot Hall of Famer. No one's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Really? Really? Okay.
By the way, the manager of the year.
Brady, first ballot, just saying.
The manager of the year, at least for the AL and NL, apparently this year not an anomaly because last year's winners were the Braves and the Athletics. The year before that, the Diamondbacks and the Twins. The year before that, the Dodgers and the Indians. So perhaps, no, maybe I'm thinking of like, isn't there like a manager of the year total as well? Like in addition to the AL and NL, isn't there like the big cheese manager of the year?
I don't know. Like I said, man, baseball doesn't make sense. Like with their voting. I mean, it seems like what they're voting on is they took a team that no one was expecting to do well, and they did surprisingly well that season. So you get manager of the year.
It's like the college football rankings. Let's just spin a wheel and see what happens.
Sporgy.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Of all the streaming services out there, only one is different. Discovery Plus. It's the greatest collection of real-life entertainment on the planet. 55,000 episodes of food, love, true crime, home, from networks like TLC, HGTV, and tons more. Yes! With stars like Chip and Jo, an exclusive new series from 90 Day Fiancé, all in one place. Bam! Discovery Plus. Stream now. Stream what you love.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Sporgy.
Well, we still got a couple other things. Do we want to transition into hockey, or we got any more on baseball?
Well, I mean, we got one big story, and we got a couple interesting little side stories in hockey. Big story being, even if you're not a hockey fan, you've probably heard about him before. With his name attached to some sort of controversy, Don Cherry finally got the axe from. It's not the CBC. It's
what Sportsnet.
Yeah. But essentially, Hockey Night in Canada, Coach's Corner, boom, gone. 35 years.
Which news to me? When did Hockey Night in Canada stop being on CBC?
I don't know. CBC stopped being on any cable I had that I could get in mid-2000s.
Yeah, I mean, all I know is when I was little, if I was watching CBC, there was nothing on. Like Channel 9 was like the last resort back in the day.
Yeah, Channel 9 here in Detroit, people don't know, was the CBC, which is a Canadian channel. And the really only things to watch were Hockey Night in Canada, Saturday night doubleheader, or if you're flipping through, you might see some titties, and so you're a little kid, so you'd stop and watch that because they allowed nudity on that channel because Canada has different regulations.
Skinamax for the win.
So
that wasn't CBC. We're talking about free TV, ice, free titty, not pay titty.
Oh, National Geographic.
But I was talking to you this before the show, Rich, pre-show meeting or chat or whatever you want to call it. He has said worse shit. He has said far worse shit that has gotten him in trouble.
He said worse stuff, but one, he said it years ago. He got in trouble, but we also shrugged that stuff off a lot better years ago. And two, if I'm remembering correctly, there was some sort of rumblings about trying to get him out before this season started of doing Hockey Night in Canada. And it was like, okay, we're going to bring him back. And I think if that's the case, then the powers that be probably gave him a very short leash and they knew that eventually he's going to say something that's going to piss off the twattersphere, and the twatters are going to start acting like twats about it. And that's exactly what happened. He dared to, for people that don't know, I guess wearing a poppy is like essentially like wearing like an American flag lapel pin or something.
A poppy is like Canada. A little flower emblem that represents...
Yeah, like...
in memory of fallen soldiers or something in Canada.
Right.
Yeah. The United States has Veterans Day. They have Remembrance Day.
And I do know that it has something to do specifically with a particular battle, et cetera, et cetera. I just don't know Canadian history enough to sit here and speak on it with any authority. But he was on Coach's corner giving his opinion on something, which is what they paid him to do for 35 years. And he said, you know, in reference to immigrants, he's like, you know, these people come here, they love our milk and honey, they love our way of life, they love, you know, all the freedoms that this country allows them, yet they can't show support for our fallen soldiers and our soldiers who have, you know, fought for them to have all this stuff. And it was the use of these people or those people, however.
He said you people a bunch of times. Which apparently you cannot put those two words together anymore in 2019, or you're racist.
And I mean, here's my thing. If he'd have said immigrants, I think that the outcome would have been the same because people would have been outraged. But if the people that he's referring to are people that immigrated to Canada, they are in fact immigrants, what are you supposed to say? Naturalized citizens?
I read an interview with him today because today he broke his silence. I didn't know he was really silent. It wasn't even 24 hours. But he said that he wishes he would have said everyone instead of you people. He figures that would have kept him out of hot water. And also what I read is, you know, he said he would apologize and do whatever whatever he had to do, put out whatever tweet he had to put out. And he said the bosses told him it wasn't enough. And he didn't disclose what they wanted him to do. But he said after he was told what they wanted him to do, he said, no thanks, I'll just quit.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, his co-host, Ron McClain, gave a thumbs up to his rant at the time. But then immediately, which basically, let's be honest, that's co-signing on what he said, right? So why isn't he fired automatically? Oh, because he knows who signs his checks, and they said, you better go out there, you better bend the knee, and you better be contrite, and he made his social media apology tour, and then he went on air on Sunday and basically threw Don Cherry under the bus.
Yep, Cherry said he felt buried by that apology.
You know, and I mean, the word that kept being used by Sportsnet in their press releases was, that really irked me was, you know, he said divisive things. Okay, well...
Yeah, I kept seeing the word racist, too. What?
If anything, it's more nationalist than racist because Don Cherry has never been a big fan of European hockey players. He thinks that they don't have, like, the vast majority of them don't play the game the way it should be played. They have no physical side to their game. He's not a big fan of French Canadians. I mean, but that's a rift in that country that I think is like the South and North is here. French Canadians, and then, you know, I think French Canadians consider themselves real Canadians, and then there's, you know, those other Canadians type thing.
Well, I mean, how many times in our life have we heard of a Quebec secession movement? It seems to show up like, you know, every 10 years.
Yeah, just like, you know, every 10 years we hear about Texas is going to secede, and we're like...
or California.
Yeah.
It's currently California.
The Republic of Texas.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like... But, you know, he made divisive statements. Okay,
so
sports
what?
Commentators...
You know what you paid him to do?
Yeah, sports commentators make divisive statements all the time. Stephen A. Smith is paid to make divisive statements.
I was just going to use him as an example. If Stephen A. Smith got fired for every divisive thing he said, he'd have been fired a week into his job.
Now, I mean... And here's the thing, I keep coming back to this. What was, if he's not, if these people, you people, those people, however, whatever combination of those words are no longer allowed, then, and we all know that if he just said, you know, immigrants, Well, that'd have been a problem too, because we go through this in America here. They're not illegals. A person can't be illegal. Okay, so what are they? Are they breaking the law by being here? So do I call them a criminal? Oh, you can't call them that. Well, if I broke into your house and stole your TV, would I be an undocumented shopper because I didn't get a receipt?
It's an undocumented TV. Yeah.
No, I'd be a criminal, right? But you can't say that because, well, they're just looking for a better life. Okay, I understand all that, but they're still breaking a law. And whether you like it or not, whether the term offends you or not, they're still immigrants. They came and immigrated to that country. That is literally what they are. There's nothing inherently bad in that statement. It's like calling a Jewish person a Jew. It all depends on the context of how you're using it. What's his religion? Oh, well, he's a Jew. It's no big deal. Now, if it's like, well, what's his problem? Oh, he's a Jew. Big difference there. Take it for what it is. But like I said, they didn't want him on there. He
didn't pull a Don Imus.
Well, they didn't want him on there anymore. Okay, I think his maybe last season or the season before was his last. Every year he releases at the end of the season Rock'em Sock'em Hockey. It's like a highlight of the best goals and hits, and used to be fights. I don't even know if they can show them anymore on the Rock'em Sock'em series. But there was 30 of them, and he ended it after 30. So I kind of think, to be honest with you, and Don Cherry is like in his 80s, I think he kind of saw the writing on the wall. You know what I'm saying? That his career was coming to an end, and he pretty much said, I'm not going to play this game. I'm not going to go out and beg for my fucking supper, which I know I'm not going to get, because they're just going to stick me on the chopping block and take my head anyways. So if you're going to chop my head off, I'm going to tell you fuck off one last time before you swing the sword. And you know what?
If you don't,
power to him.
Yeah.
If you don't know who Don Cherry is, he is the equivalent of John Madden to the NFL.
Oh, big time.
He's the one that you turn to for all the analytics, all the stats, all the what do you think about, and he could do it. I watched Don Cherry many times talk about many players on many different teams, and you're right, Rich. Some people he didn't really like, but he could analyze it. And I mentioned that because that's exactly who he reminded me of is John Madden. Now, today, he reminds me of Colin Kaepernick. Because you say the wrong thing, you do the wrong thing in sports, you're gone. You're done. That's it. Yes, you're right. There is a freedom of speech. But when you do it at your workplace, you do it at your workplace, it costs you your job.
Well, not only that, but it's even if this was in America where this happened, yeah, you got freedom of speech. Just watch what you say.
It costs you your job. You're right.
Like I said, I really feel that he saw the writing on the wall. There's been much backlash towards him for a while now. It's. I mean, I hate to say it because it irritates me to say this, but you now have a generation of hockey fans who don't understand the game as Don Cherry has explained it to people for 4 or 5 decades. I mean, not only has he been a hockey analyst, he was a head coach for 2 separate NHL teams. All right, I mean, the man knows hockey, and do I agree with everything he says? Of course not. I don't agree with everything anybody says. And why all of a sudden we feel the need where everybody has to agree with what you say for you to be safe? I don't understand. I just don't get that. But
I don't know.
Yeah, we're beyond decades. We're talking half a century.
I mean,
he might know something about it, but Rich, Don Cherry is the old guard. He is the old guard. Okay, we're not talking about it. He is the old guard. And today's world doesn't have a place anywhere. Not in the back, not in the front, not on the sideline. You don't go anywhere if you're the old guard. It's time for you to hang up your mic and go sit down.
Yeah, but see, Ron McClain's been with him for decades as well. He is not considered the old guard. Why? because he'll play the game. Whereas Don Cherry just said, I'm 80-something. I'm not going to sing for my supper, and I'm not tap dancing for you assholes. I don't have to. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know what? Whether I agree with his statement or not, because to be honest with you, I'm like, it kind of feels like this is a Canadian issue that I don't really understand, and I can't get personally involved with because I don't understand everything that's going on behind, with it. I mean, I know that Don Cherry definitely leans heavily towards conservative. You know what I'm saying? That goes without saying. You can look up YouTube and see plenty of examples of that. But
yeah,
that's because he's old.
But I mean,
no, it's not just that. It's like you were saying, the Rock'em Sock'em tapes, the analytics that he performs. It's all of the ways hockey used to be, and in today's world, it has no place. You don't want to talk about the physicality. You don't want to talk about the fighting. You don't want to talk about certain things, and that's what Don Cherry is. And that's what he's always been. That's what people can depend on, the raw elements of that game. And in today's world, people are like, no, shush, hush, damn it.
And to back up your point, the ESPN article that we shared in our behind-the-scenes chat, this is a direct quote from this article. He extolled the virtues of fighting in hockey for decades and into the current era of concussion awareness. Okay, well, once again, you see what they're trying to do there? They're trying to imply that, fighting in hockey, and he supports it, even though you get a lot of guys with concussions. How many guys get concussions from fucking fighting versus, I don't know, going into the corner and getting plastered against the boards?
Bouncing their head off the ice, bouncing their head off the steel.
From open ice hits. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to say it's quite a bit more get concussions from things other than fighting in hockey. But you see what they're doing here? And that's ESPN sneak dissing, because that's what ESPN does. I mean, let's be honest. Yes, ESPN has hockey on their online shit now. But, I mean, they didn't for the better part of almost 2 decades? What was it? The lockout? So that's 2004 going to 2005, that whole season. That's when they dropped hockey to where if you saw highlights of Sidney Crosby and Ovechkin, you considered yourself lucky as a hockey fan on SportsCenter. And those are that's like if ESPN lost Monday Night Football and on their Sunday night flagship program, SportsCenter, they showed you what Tom Brady and I don't know, like what Tom Brady and Ezekiel Elliott did, and the rest of it they just flashed the scores on the crawl because we're not attached to the NFL anymore. Fuck them. So it's just there's a lot at play here, and I mean if you're a hockey fan, you know what's up. I mean, and he's a very divisive person in hockey. There's a lot of people I know, older and younger, who are like, I don't like him. Okay, you don't like him. Great, wonderful.
Cool. Don't watch him.
He probably
you don't have to.
I guarantee you this. He probably doesn't like you.
Hey, Rich, have you seen a hockey fight in today's NHL?
Yeah.
It looks a lot like a girl fight. I'm just going to say that. So you want to talk about CTE?
You're canceled now, Ice.
We
How do girls fight?
A lot of slapping and clawing, yelling.
That's it. Cancel.
If you want to talk of CTE and concussions in hockey, when Don Cherry was talking about it, you talk about, and it's not just because he's Detroit, but Probert, Kosher, Grimson, those guys. Back then, everybody had a goon. Everybody had somebody that when those gloves were dropped, you're like, I'm going to go out in one punch. They don't have that today. They don't have a guy that when the gloves drop, you're like, fuck, I'm going to need my jaw wired.
But once again, that gets hyped up by the people who want to paint him as this caveman and this evolutionary throwback who's a knuckle dragger and a mouth breather, and he hates, the European style of play, which, I mean, to his credit, he said, I don't like the style of play the Europeans have brought to the NHL. It's not physical. I mean, when you watch international hockey, it is a completely different game as far as physicality than you watch the NHL playoffs. It's two separate worlds. And that's how come I'm just calling it. I mean, how many European dominated teams were raising cups? Who was the first European captain team to raise a cup? It was the Red Wings. It was Nick Lindstrom.
I say it like this. This is the last thing I want to say about Don. He's a great analyst. He is the old guard. He's not from. He is the old guard. I understand they want to move away from him, but give him his dignity, man. Because what you let him go over is nothing to let anybody go over. Well, like I said, he wasn't Don Imus. He didn't say shit like nappy-headed hose. It wasn't like a Kaepernick move where he took a knee on the anthem and everybody in an uproar. Just saying this, you know, you can wear a poppy to support your fallen soldiers and celebrate remembrance. That was a terrible move. That was a dick move.
And like I was going to say, even though, yes, he is a big fan of the big hits and fighting in hockey, he's also very clear about he doesn't like dirty players. He doesn't like dirty hits. For decades now, he's been talking about that he wants in like all junior hockey coming up, like when, you know, kids play little league hockey or whatever they call it. I think they call it Pee Wee or whatever. That he's like, they need to put literal stop signs on the back of kids' jerseys. So if the kid is completely facing away from you, facing the boards, you know not to ride him into the boards, because that's the type of play that gets people seriously injured. Now, this is a guy who releases for 30 years a compilation of big hits and fights and goals called Rock'em Sock'em, yet he's sitting there for 20 years not talking at the professional level. He's talking about starting it with the young kids when they start playing. That way you get a generation that comes up that understands, oh yeah, it's not the Wild West. It's not the fucking 40s or 30s where they have chicken wire instead of glass. You know what I'm saying? Like, he remembers that shit. We have to look on YouTube to see clips of it. You know, I mean, that's what irritates me. The brush that he's being painted with by certain people is he's this knuckle dragger, and that's it. He's a conservative. He's a knuckle dragger. He wants fighting, and he wants people to take each other's skates off and try to stab each other, and he's an animal. Get him out of here.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what he's saying and what he's promoting gives way to people like McDavid.
Well, that's the other story. That's the other story is that, you know, Connor McDavid, in essentially, what did I say, 1, 2, 3.5 seasons, has hit 400 points. Now, that's not Gretzky speed, because we looked that up. And Gretzky there's a reason he's called the Great One. Okay?
Well, yeah, but now see, here's where the old guard and times changing works against people. See, in football, it helps you score. In hockey, it helps you not score. Back in the day when Gretzky started, it was quite easy for him to get a goal. Somebody like Gretzky, not everybody, somebody like Gretzky to score a goal. Nowadays, it's a lot harder. You got bigger pads, you got better goalies, you got better defensive men. Well, so for him to even in his first 2 or 3 seasons get up over 300 points says something about the kid. I'm just saying. Whereas it's not Gretzky numbers. Gretzky numbers came pretty easy because Gretzky. And because very, very small pads.
Yeah, but Gretzky also played and you'd get hit a lot more.
You're right.
You could argue it's easier to be a higher scorer in today's NHL.
Well, he would be, but and Rich will back me up on this. This is why you have the quote goons. There is a line called checking line.
Not anymore, but there used to be.
There used to be, right. He had a line called the checking line, okay? And those types of things have changed in today's hockey. So with Gretzky, yeah, he would get hit more, but not so much Gretzky, and just like Yzerman, not so much him, because you had the baddest men on the planet coming on the ice going, you fucked up. You know you fucked up, right? You fucked up.
Yeah, but that's right. Yeah, but my argument is that's back when people were allowed to hit people.
Well,
Now
don't,
not so much.
Don't get so caught up, okay, in the difference of the eras, because something that people tend to forget, unless you're like hockey fans, Gretzky has more assists than anyone else has points for his career. All right, like he not only could he score, but he could make everybody on the ice that much better.
Right.
The infamous story was when he was playing Little League hockey, he came home after a game and he said, "We got one more game left and there's one kid on the team who hasn't scored." And his dad said, "What are you going to do about it?" And the last game, I don't know if it was the last game of the season or if it was the next game of the season, the kid had 3 goals, all assisted by Gretzky. That's what he's going to do about it. Like, you get that type of player, that's not just a generational player. That's an all-time great player. And
it's a great one.
If you know, and I hate to say this because whatever, like, yes, if you're going to talk about all-time scorers, he's right there. He's number one. I'm not even going to. If Lemieux had been healthy his entire career, maybe he could have gave him a run for his money. That's as close as I'm going to get into an argument with someone about it. But I will say this: he had no physical side to his game, none whatsoever, and that's how come I can't say he was the greatest all-around player. To me, all-around means scoring, assist, longevity, physicality, and leadership. And there's a handful of guys who had all that. Bobby Orr, Rocket Richard, Gordie Howe. I mean, those are rare air guys. That's like a 5-tool guy in baseball. You know, that gets thrown around a lot about prospects. Oh, he's a 5-tool guy. Is he really? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Is he going to get in the majors and he's going to just excel, keep excelling at all 5 of those tools? That's pretty hard to do. But I mean, hey, look, the NHL, Connor McDavid plays for a Canadian team. You know, he's the great Canadian hope. A lot of people. I remember. This is how big of a deal it was when he made his debut for Edmonton. Okay, he played his first professional game for Edmonton, and the next day, the NHL game that came out that season released an updated roster and put him on it. Usually, those updated rosters come like twice a month. They didn't do the twice a month update. The next day, they released an update. Because until you play a professional game, they can't put you in the game. That's how big of a deal it was. Like,
isn't he like competing with the kid from on the Maple Leafs?
Austin Matthews. Well, Austin Matthews came after him, but yeah, Austin Matthews. That's another one. But I mean, that's a whole different conversation. One is the Maple Leafs. 2, you got a bunch of shit going on in Toronto that I'm like, I don't even want to get into it. You got Babcock out there still. That's a love-hate relationship with the players and him. I mean, it's just
they love to hate him. That's what that means.
Pretty much, but yeah. And then the other kind of major story is Chara played his 1500th game, which is really impressive, especially for a guy who's like 6'9". Like that's, you know. Remember when Shaq was old and we were like, "Stop it, Shaq." When he played for like the Celtics and the Suns, we were like, just stop it, Shaq. Like, you go do your arthritis commercials. You know what I'm saying?
Put the patch on, go sit down.
Exactly. Like, Chara's still out there banging and playing at a high level and playing on a team that's in the mix every season. And I mean, I clearly remember the first issue of the Hockey News that I saw him on the cover when he got drafted by the Islanders. And he was standing next to, I believe, their general manager, and he was towering over him. And I was like, oh, look at this Nazi genetic experiment. I'm like, look at this dude. Seriously?
Did anybody pick up Jaromir Jagr?
No. As far as I know,
he's done?
Yeah. I'd imagine he's done in the NHL.
No one wants a 49-year-old ice.
Not unless your name's Chelios.
Yeah.
And even then, I think, well, he's 47. I think Chelios played till he was 48. He's
I don't give a shit, man. Jaromir Jagr, I'd have picked him up just because I wanted him on my team. Just the name.
Jagr's still playing in the Czech Republic, though.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. That fucker.
I mean, and dude, seriously, like, every once in a while, a couple of the hockey pages I follow, they'll find a picture of him where he's like at the beach or something and his shirt's off, and it makes me just want to go suck on the business end of a shotgun. Because he's 5 years older than me, and he's got muscles where I don't even have flab. I'm like, this is bullshit.
You're like, there's a muscle there?
Yeah.
They're supposed to be? Uh-oh.
I didn't even know that spot existed on a human being, let alone it could have an 8-pack of its own. What the fuck?
Sporgy.
ChristopherMedia.net.
There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth. And always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Me, but also you. The Pharaoh fast forwards his favorite foreign film, Powder Donut. Okay, what's my line?
The only line I see here on the script is get options based on your budget with the name your price tool from Progressive.
Oh man, that's a tongue twister, huh? I'm sorry, I'm gonna need a few more minutes. Bulbous Walrus, the Bulbous Walrus.
The Name Your Price tool, only from Progressive.
The owl ran afoul of the comatose coxswain.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Sporgy.
Before we unbuckle what is the football era of this program, I got, once again, Chris, eat a dick. I hate to say it. You're right.
The
Lakers aren't.
You tell him to eat a dick, or hate to tell him that he's right?
Yes. The Lakers aren't looking back. They're just full boring, straight ahead. The only team that's coming close to them is the Celtics on the other coast. And if you were a Golden State Warriors fan, sorry about your season.
Talk to me in a month with this whole conversation when the season's 20 games old.
Hey, Chris, 2-9, Golden State right now.
Yeah,
they're 2-9.
And in a month they could have a completely different record. Could be worse, could be better. I'm just saying before we call it on any team. Keep the NBA season. I think it's like a month old this week.
I just want to remind you that the Golden State Warriors for the past 3 years haven't seen 9 losses until somewhere in the late January, early February.
I mean, I'm enjoying the props, but yeah, well, it's keep in mind the last 2 years the baseball teams with the best records have not won the World Series. So I mean,
the Nationals were at the bottom this year. But
and the Dodgers for 3 years were the best team in the league and did dick with it. So
I got you. But that being said,
it all matters how you perform come playoff time, no matter what sport you're in.
Come playoff time, come down the stretch. It doesn't matter because my man's out. He's done for the season, and unfortunately, he is the Michael Jordan of that team.
I'm not ready to call time of death on the Lakers or on the Warriors. 11 games in, just not.
Okay. And I'm not saying they're not going to make a dramatic comeback. I'm not saying they probably will make the playoffs. But this year, if they get to the playoffs, they will be first-round fodder. Michael Jordan is injured for the season. Steph Curry
He's supposed to be back after the All-Star break. He's not gone for the season.
They said he was done for the season with his hand.
Oh, when was this? Everything I've been reading is just said 3 or 4 months. They're pretty much saying, like, we'll see after the All-Star break.
So they updated
it. Wasn't for the season.
Okay. Well,
it's for the whole time. It initially thought he was going to miss the season, but yeah, no, he'll be back.
To what though? 2-9. Like I said, 3 years running, Chris.
Dude, 1 month in.
And they haven't. Okay. 3 years running, they haven't seen 9 losses until like February.
Dude, this is like calling the baseball season in May.
Okay.
I said 11 games in, 1 month into the season. I'm not saying the body's dead in Golden State just yet. There are 4 other guys on that team. I'm talking
about life support. I'm talking you got an iron lung over here.
No iron lung. Does everyone else on that team just die, pass out, sleep?
Yes. They got traded. There is no Iguodala.
Yeah. Boogie Cousins really wasn't that big of a factor. Iguodala wasn't even in your starting five.
Oh, fuck.
He came off the bench.
Steph Curry's backup, when he comes off the bench. I can't think of his name.
Again, he comes up. You can't remember his name. You think that's a good sign?
That I'm old and senile? No, it's a terrible sign. But that doesn't mean he's any less. He was a great placeholder. Would have been a great placeholder if he hadn't been traded. I think it was to Atlanta. But that being said, he's not there. There's so many players that they had that they've let go of and haven't replaced. And the people they did bring on isn't getting the job done. They need Curry. They need him bad. 2 out of 5 people are on Curry all the time he's on the floor. You don't have that. It's an equal playing field, and it's not getting it done. That's not the game plan of the Warriors. Never was. Never has been.
Again, dude, I think we need more data. We can't a month into the season.
You know what, though? Anybody else, if you want to talk about the Lakers in a month or 3, if you want to talk about Celtics or whoever else, I'll talk to you in a month or 3.
I'll say that the Lakers could take a shit in the next month.
I agree with you. But that being said, the Warriors past 3 years, it's
a month in.
Yes, but that's important. That's very important.
No, it's not. It's a month in. We are 11 games into an 80-game season.
You're right, Chris, but listen. For the past 3 years, they haven't seen 9 losses until the better half of the season. For 3 years.
So what?
And now they've seen it in the first month.
So what does that mean?
You tell me what that means, because I'm telling you that I have no hope for them.
Man, you're a shitty fan. It is a month in.
I'm not cheering for any other team. I'm just going, fuck. They have lost 9 of 11 games.
I got confidence in them.
Okay. Talk to you in a month.
Yeah. Agreed. All right. So football. There is going to be a sexual assault in Ann Arbor this weekend on live television.
Uh-oh.
Dude, I would like to say that this is 2 teams, one coming up, and the other going down. But it's one team barely treading water, and the other team keeps bobbing its head under, and then coming back up gasping for air. This is not going to be a good game.
Although I will say I would not be surprised if Michigan State won, simply because coming off that collapse, whatever the fuck that was last weekend. Jesus Christ.
No, dude, at this point, I can't put anything past either team. And I mean,
there is no way the Spartans beat the Wolverines.
Yep, and
money will have to change hands in order for that to happen.
I sure as hell thought that the Wolverines had it wrapped up when, oh my God, he's in trouble with the snap, and I'm like, you got to be shitting me. They just won a game with no time on the clock. How the fuck? You got to be shitting me. I can't put anything past them, man. And here's why. I don't know why so many Michigan fans refuse to admit this. Like, yes, we hate Ohio State. Yes, we do. But we're not Ohio State's rival anymore. For a rivalry to be there, you have to win more than once a decade, okay? That's not a rivalry. That's just getting your ass whooped and circling the calendar every year to go in and have it happen to you. Michigan State and Michigan is the rivalry. And Michigan State takes this a lot more serious than I think people give them credit for. I would not be shocked if Michigan State gets up for this game and Michigan plays down to their level because, well, Harbaugh.
Well, especially this season, because that's all State's got left is this game. I mean, you got housed by Ohio State. You lost to Illinois.
I will say this. I find it disturbing to hear Michigan State fans go, I hate to say this, I'm not rooting for Michigan to win because I'll never root for Michigan, but I kind of hope State loses, and this is what makes D'Antonio go, it's time. I'm going to call it a career at the end of the season. Kind of like how a lot of Lions fans are like, I hope the Lions lose out because then we'll get rid of Quinn and Patricia. And I'm just like, wow, okay. Because I don't... I can't root for. I can't not root, but I can't be like, boy, I hope Ohio State wins. That way they get rid of Harbaugh. Fuck that. If he beats Ohio State, great, wonderful. You won one. On your way out the door, see ya. But I've heard State fans call in the local sports talk. I've talked to State fans that have said that. And I'm just like, wow, okay. And it's not a hatred for D'Antonio. It's they don't want him to tarnish his legacy. They don't want him to stick around for yet another season and it go historically bad. And him leave on that note. Right or wrong, that's how a lot of them feel.
Yeah.
And everyone sure is in a hurry to get the best coach in the school's history out the door.
I don't know. I'm not a State fan. I guess I can't put myself in that position. But I mean, it's like, okay, so he had a shitty 2016. He's having a shitty 2019.
So that's it? You should can him?
There's no chance to right the ship?
Yeah.
Like, there's no hope here. Like, this is, and you know, the things you hear is he's too loyal to his assistant coaches. He refuses to replace guys that need to be replaced. It's time to move on. He's slipping in recruiting, and I'm like, if all that's true, then why is he saying things at press conferences like, that's a dumbass question, I'm not answering that, or next question, when asked about anything that would even lead to a conversation about him leaving. To me, that doesn't sound like a man who's got one foot out the door. To me, that sounds like a guy who's used to winning, and he's frustrated that he's having this type of season, and he's like, all right, let's just make a shitty bowl game, get through this season, regroup in the offseason, and come back and do what we've been doing for fucking over a decade now. By the way, like I said, this is not my personal feelings. This is just sentiments I've heard from State fans. This is not my personal feelings. To be brutally honest with you, though, if he left, it wouldn't break my heart. It'd be a shame because I have a ton of respect for him as a football coach and what he's done with that program. Just like when Patrick Waugh retired, I didn't shed a tear, but I was like, I can hate him a little less because I ain't got to watch my team face him anymore. You know, that's kind of how I'll feel. It's like, look, he has done amazing. Fuck that's your Bo Schembechler. That's like your Fielding Yost. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's the guy that brought you. You know, that's your guy for State, especially in our lifetime.
Yeah, I don't. But then again, too, I also didn't get when U of M ran Lloyd out of town. Like, really, guy who brought you a national championship? What was it, a 3-loss season, and that's it? We'll see you?
Because you have people who go, well, we could do better. And it's like, look at the history. Look at the history of your program. Historically, you haven't really done much better. Historically, you've been 10, 11 wins, per season team. We've been through this. Under Schembechler, you did not have a winning Rose Bowl or a winning bowl, a winning over 500 winning percentage in bowl games, period. End of story. All right. We won the Big Ten. Great. How many national championships Bo bring home? Oh, that's right. So
yeah,
it's that we deserve better. We want that national championship. Here comes Rich Rod. He's the new hotness.
Boy, were they wrong.
Absolutely. But no, I mean, I'll save it for the picks. But I mean, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised about anything that happens with this game. I just wouldn't.
But Michigan State losing to the Illini is just, that tips off the iceberg. Penn State lost to who? Who the hell is Minnesota? And how are they going to beat Penn State?
Who's Minnesota? They're a team that's 9-0 this year, sir. And they're in the Big Ten. So they've played a couple good teams. Now, you know who Minnesota's got? PJ Fleck. They are rowing the boat in Minnesota, sir.
And if the LSU-Alabama game kind of shocked you, well, then you didn't listen to Sporgy last week, and if you did, you believed Chris and not me.
What?
LSU beat Alabama. I told you that was going to happen.
What an asshole I am. I picked the home team. What a dick.
Yeah, I know, right? Saban fucked up. Tua isn't better than Hurts. Just ain't. Can't get it done in the clutch.
Way to make LSU's victory all about you.
Yeah, it was all about me. Had nothing to do with Coach O.
Oh, God.
There's a lot that just, I'm like, what the fuck?
No, it was that kind of weekend in college football. It was just that kind of weekend in football, period.
It was that kind of weekend in college, anything.
By the way, Joe Burrow, I hope you like orange and black. Because you're gonna be a Cincinnati Bengals, sir. Unless they shit out a couple of wins here in the next month.
Where are the stripes? Yeah, even in college basketball, dude. Kentucky lost.
We're talking about football. We're talking about football.
I'm just saying college, period. It's like, what the fuckins?
Whatever, you can't compare the two.
And full days. So calm down. Didn't you do this last year with somebody who ended up going to the Final Four?
I'm just saying, college, period. It just blew my mind this weekend.
Yeah, I remember last year. Oh, Kentucky lost. Didn't Kentucky go to the Final Four?
No, but Kentucky lost to Edinburgh.
Yeah.
Who?
Are we talking today? It was Evansville. And yeah,
Whatever.
last year, no, it was Duke. It was Duke or NC State lost some no-name team, and you're like, oh, it's over. And yeah, dude, again, it is the first 2 days of college basketball. Slow down. But anyway, we were talking about college football, but Earl saw a squirrel, so.
No, I didn't. It's just college, period, and the football takes the cake with all the what the fuckins. I'm just sitting there going, okay. And then it did spill over into Sunday where I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, how about Oklahoma had to squeak out a point victory over Iowa State? The fuck is Iowa State? K-State almost beat Texas. Yeah, Minnesota beat Penn State.
Northwestern lost to Purdue. How you doing?
Yeah. Virginia Tech beat Wake Forest. I mean, yeah, it was definitely kind of one of those weeks in college football.
And if you're from the east side of the state, Eastern Michigan, you beat Akron.
Oh, wow. Really? We're going into the MAC? It's time to move on to the pros. If you're bringing up MAC football, there's.
Well, I'm just saying, Akron isn't even Rutgers. I mean, they need to win. They need to win bad.
All right. So the pros. Let's start with there's some news, right? Isn't there?
There is news, yes. Mr. CK himself. Is it coming to an end, Chris?
Dude, I was saying in the chat, Colin Kaepernick is going to get some kind of like open audition with the NFL Saturday. First time I ever heard anything like that. But, dude, how many quarterbacks have gotten injured this year? At what point Pittsburgh was playing their third string? Yeah. Can we get the man a gig?
His response on Twitter is, I'm just getting word from my representatives that the NFL league office reached out to them about a workout in Atlanta on Saturday. I've been in shape and ready for this for 3 years. Can't wait to see the head coaches and GMs on Saturday.
I hope someone picks him up. Because first of all, everyone will shut the fuck up about him.
Exactly.
Dude, what's Ellen? Hey, come on. Can we send Cap to Denver?
I'm right there with you, Chris. The only reason I want him signed by a team is just so this shit could end. Because I'm sick of it. I'm sick of any time his name comes up connected to anything with the NFL, it turns into a pissing contest, and all the 3-year-old bullshit gets dragged out. I'm just like, oh my fucking God. It's like going into the comment section of a political article and people start arguing about Trump versus Hillary. The bitch lost 3 years ago. Can we move the fuck on? Why are we talking about this bitch?
Well, here's the thing, though. Like I was talking with Chris about this, he had gigs. He had offers that if he would have taken, he would have been the starting quarterback right now. So if he holds this workout and somebody signs him and says, but when our starting quarterback comes back, you're having a seat, is he going to take it?
Well, at this point, I mean, I'm surprised if the man, wipes back to front. We don't know it because it's not, it's the lead story on ESPN SportsCenter that night. But if he turns down a contract offer because of that, we'll know it. No one's going to keep their mouth shut. It's just too juicy of a story, and it's going to restart the bullshit all over again. And at that point, I swear to God, I'll just mute my mic whenever you guys bring him up because I'm done, dude. If he is offered a contract and is told, yeah, look, we need you to come in and play, but when our quarterback comes back and he's healthy, we're putting him in, and he goes, not good enough, I'm done. Then you really don't want to come back that bad, do you? That's just all there is to it.
Well, and
it's like that. No. It's like that asshole friend who's always talking about, I can't find a job. And all his friends come to him and offer him jobs, and he never even goes to a job interview. After a while, you just go, then I'm done with you, dude. I don't want to hear about how you're always broke and you can't find a job. That's your fault at this point.
Most definitely. And there are teams where he would have the starting gig, and there isn't a quarterback that will come back that will take it.
Look, at the fear of turning this into another Lions-centric fucking segment, let me just say this real quick. You have Matt Stafford, who is once again out with a broken back, supposedly different broken part of his back than before, which I'm not sure I buy, to be honest with you. All right.
We can get into that.
There's no reason if it's the same injury or if it's a new injury, then obviously if they want him to be here and be a career Lion, sit his ass out till you're 100% sure. Either he came back too soon last time and re-injured himself, or he's got osteoporosis. I don't know anything else to say.
Or I think it was a white flag move. I don't think he's that injured.
Well, if that's the case, the NFL and the NFLPA will have a field day with that investigation. Because didn't the Ravens get investigated for trying to claim someone was injured when they really weren't, to make roster room?
Yeah, but that's all. I mean, the biggest case of that this year is Jalen Ramsey and how his back all of a sudden cleared up as soon as he landed in L.A.
Or you could say Cam Newton's got a hurt foot, and it's hurt enough that we got to put him on IR.
Well, I'm just saying, that's an example of a team that's like, look, you ain't got shit in the backup position. You've never had a legit backup to your fucking franchise quarterback, all right? And there's other teams that can say the same thing right now. It's just because it's the local team. That's the story I've heard nothing but that about since last Sunday. And it's like, look, someone sign him and get this shit over with. That way we can move the fuck on with our fucking lives and actually worry about the numbers he puts up instead of what numbers he could have put up if given the shot.
Well, exactly.
What if he ends up a Lion?
I mean, he could, because we need him. But that being said, a place where he could go and keep a starting job, the Redskins. The Redskins are a shit show. They need him badly.
But what will the woke Warriors do if he ends up on the Redskins? Will we see people's heads explode? Cap's got to get. Oh, but it's on the racist team. Ah! And then they just die.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, he'd probably be like, the team in Washington that I play for because I refuse to say their name. I'm giving it my all for the team I play for in Washington every Sunday.
Other teams, Dolphins, obviously. The Broncos could use him. Bengals could use him. Coming soon, the Chargers could use him. Poor Phillip.
Chicago?
Badly.
Yeah. I mean, we're sitting here just riffing, and we named like half a dozen teams.
I named half the NFL. That's truth. So he has to end up somewhere after Saturday, right?
Well, I think we're going to know how serious the threat of him coming back to the NFL is based on who shows up and what teams show up and who they send to his workout.
If the Lions show up to this workout, I'm going to make the statement publicly now. I am burning every Lions jersey I have.
Why?
Didn't you just say they need him?
They do need him.
Did you say the Lions if they show up or they don't show up?
If they do. Because the Lions have needed a lot of people that have been moving around. A lot of people. Especially one of the biggest people that made the biggest plays in Monday night's game last night. Diggs. Quandre Diggs, we needed him. And he gave him away. We needed a running back. You never went after him. And then when you did, you went after Dante Freeman, for fuck's sake. None of the premier running backs that were available did you go after. You wait and you wait and you wait. And then it's like, last call, we have one big name left. He's holding a fucking practice on Saturday. If you go to that and get him, fuck you, that's why. You don't make a move until you're absolutely 100% out of options and are forced to make a move.
Call your franchise quarterback on the sidelines, perhaps a move where you're out of options. Do you want to see Jeff Driscoll starting the rest of the season?
Doesn't matter if it's Jeff Driscoll or Stafford or even if it is Kaepernick. My point isn't who it is, it's why it is. Because you're absolutely 100% out of options and you're forced to do it.
What if Cap comes in and brings off seven wins in a row?
What if? Now you're talking in hypothetical.
Yeah, sure. He is what, early 30s?
But according to him, he's been training and in shape for the past 3 years waiting. So it could happen. I don't care. It's not about that. It's about the Lions not making the moves when they had the chance and waiting to the final fucking whistle, if you will, to finally have to do something because you're stuck in a position where if you don't do something, you're fucked. Instead of going, well, we can do this and have a better shot. Well, we can do this and have a better shot. Well, look who just become available and we can have a great shot with him. No, you sit back and go, we're good. We're okay. We're middle of the fucking road and that's good enough. What? Our quarterback's down. Final call. Yeah, let's go to this practice. We have to get him.
This is why I didn't want to bring up the Lions whatsoever, because I knew it was going to turn into a whole segment about them yet again.
Not a segment about them, dude. He's not coming to the Lions because he will never, ever have the starting quarterback job at the Lions to call his own to where he's not looking over his shoulder going, you ready? Are you ready?
Dude, at this point, to be honest with you, I don't know if he really wants to come back. Or if he just wants to act like he wants to come back so he can have righteous indignation and claim that he's being blacklisted and all this stuff.
I know that he had multiple opportunities. Just to name a certain one, the Baltimore Ravens were going to sign him, and he turned them down because it wasn't a starting quarterback position. So he's had multiple opportunities in the past 3 years to come back to the NFL. So I don't know what this is. Is this a... Don't look at the man behind the curtain kneeling. Now look at me playing. I don't know what he's trying to do here.
Well, the people that let him...
He didn't set this up. The NFL did. He was not aware of this. He became aware of this just like us. He did not set this up.
Well, if that's the case, then I have no idea what to think.
I don't either. That's mind-blowing.
You know, Kaepernick is like... In a lot of ways, he's like Trump to me. His supporters and his detractors both annoy the piss out of me. Just shut up, okay? What's going to happen? What's going to happen? Just stop letting this man in this situation rent so much space in your fucking head. Seriously, go get a hobby. Go talk to somebody outside of your house. Get off the internet for 5 minutes. I'm like, either someone offer him a job, make it right out in the open, do it through the media. That way he can't deny that nothing was behind closed doors. And if he turns it down and go, then we're done talking about you. And if he takes it and he goes out there and he plays and he does his best and he works his way back into a starting job somewhere, more power to him. Then we can stop talking about this bullshit. I'm so fucking sick of this. Every other fucking player that kneeled is still in the NFL. Right? At a certain point, I got to start to wonder how much of this bullshit is because he's got people telling him behind the scenes, well, let's keep the shit, let's keep stirring the pot. Let's keep stirring the pot. Well, if he's going to listen to those people, then fuck him and fuck those people. I'm done with this shit. And now that you tell me the NFL set this fucking shit up, get the fuck out of here. Now I'm wondering if he's even going to show up.
Yeah, right.
Well, according to his response, yeah, he's excited and can't wait to see him.
Good on him.
Sporgy.
ChristopherMedia.net. ChristopherMedia.net.
Sporgy.
Anyways, moving on.
Yeah.
There's wait a minute. Now that I think about it, it's kind of local on two fronts. Didn't Charles Rogers go to State?
He did.
Yep.
Yeah. From
I
Saginaw.
own that jersey.
He's from Saginaw.
My favorite jersey.
He's from Saginaw, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Charles Rogers, dead, 38. That's from liver failure, which makes me.
Yeah, he had like liver disease or something like that.
He had a bout with cancer and liver failure, but he got big into drugs as soon as he was drafted.
Well, I mean, you don't get liver failure from smoking weed. I don't care who the fuck you smoke with. Makes me wonder if he was like pounding painkillers. Because I mean, acetaminophen will take you out if you eat a handful of them every day. Mm-hmm. I have a drummer who's no longer on this planet because of that I used to play with, and he was younger than Charles Rogers. So I mean, I know for a fact. I've seen the damage done, but yeah, that's some sad shit, man. I mean, the guy can never seem to stay healthy. I mean, collarbone 1 year.
Mm-hmm. Then collarbone the second year.
Yeah, the next year was, it's like, Jesus Christ, man. Whatever. Like, I got to kind of agree with a local sports talk station I heard when someone called in, oh, he's a pothead. And they were like, you don't think half the fucking people in the NFL are potheads? There was... Percy Harvin came out, a month and a half ago, talking about he was high every game?
Every single game.
Yeah, like you don't think that these general managers know these guys smoke pot when they draft them, and you don't think these guys get heads up to cycle off the shit. Like you're gonna get a surprise drug test in about 4 weeks. Time to drink for a few weeks. You know what I'm saying? Take the extra cortisone shot and get yourself a bottle of Jameson. Lay off the fucking devil's lettuce. Mm-hmm. But he also had a lot of issues off the field as far as he just apparently his personal life coming from the Saginaw area wasn't all that great. And
apparently never heard of rubbers either.
Yeah, 8 kids.
8 kids. 2 of them are in their 20s. He's 38.
Fucking guy can't pull out of a driveway. Yeah. I mean, it's like, it kept, someone brought up a great point. What would have happened if he'd have been drafted by a team like San Francisco? Somewhere like on the other side of the country, or Tampa, something that got him out of and away from the people that he grew up around, because apparently, like I said, that wasn't the best situation for him. It's sad because I've seen players come out since it was announced that he died, and whether it's tweets or articles or interviews, and they've said one of the most gifted, raw, talented athletes they'd ever fucking played against, and it just all got pissed away. And it's like that's fucked up, man.
Yeah, and it's just very matter of weird, I guess I would say. I don't know what, but it's my favorite jersey. I own like 5 or 6 Lions jerseys, and his is one of them. It's the first one I ever bought. That's why it's my favorite.
Maybe that you bought, but you used to rock a Spielman jersey damn near every day.
Yeah, my dad bought that one. He's still my favorite player, period, end of file. That cat could play backer, man. Ugh. Anyways, yeah. And the funny part is, when I wore it everywhere in Detroit, everybody's like, who's number 80? Who's C. Rogers? Who? Yeah, it's charm. Receiver. Never mind.
A mutual friend of ours got a Charles Rogers jersey after he was off the team for a Christmas gift, and he showed up at a New Year's party wearing it. And for the whole party, the joke got old very quickly, but for the whole party it was like, no one pat him on the back too hard, we'll have to put him on IR. And it was like, oh, God.
Did your friend wake up drunk in a Taco Bell drive-thru after this party?
Nobody might have got pistol-whipped in the parking lot of a crackhead motel at one point. It's all speculation, I don't know. But, yeah.
Didn't he also fall asleep at a traffic light?
I think so. Yeah.
How fucked up Like, a traffic light is like a minute. How fucked up do you have to be to just pass out while you are stopped?
What's scary is how many times that's actually happened, because I remember hearing a story about George Michael. A cop pulled up and he'd sat through 3 cycles of the traffic light. It was red, it went green, it went yellow, it went red again, it went green, yellow, red again, green, and that's when the cop was like, you gotta be kidding me. And so he just pulls up behind him, gets out, and he's just behind him. Out. It turns out he's on ecstasy, and I'm like, what kind of smacky-ass ecstasy was he on when he passed out at a fucking stoplight?
Yeah, did you chase it with heroin?
There's many things that ecstasy will cause you to do. Pass out at a light is not one of those things.
Correct.
I mean, maybe if it's blinking, you'll get out and start dancing, but I mean, I wouldn't think that, like, we're at the next club, all right, yeah.
Yeah, you're flashing yellow, you just get out, woo!
Yes, many things, cause you do many things. Pass out, not one of the things on the list.
Yeah, Charles Rogers, he'll be missed. Not really. Well, probably by his 8 kids and the 4 baby mamas who were getting child support. But
R.I.P., dude.
He is definitely in our lifetime, if not ever, one of the biggest Lions busts.
Him and Mike Williams.
I was going to say, he's up there with Mike Williams.
Yeah.
Isn't that the guy who, like, got fat and didn't read the playbook?
Well, there's
who was very Jamarcus Russell of him?
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, Jamarcus Russell was another one that pulled that. My favorite Jamarcus Russell story. The Raiders didn't think he was actually watching tape, so they gave him like 2 VHS tapes and said, review these blitzes of the team we're facing this weekend. He came in the next day, they said, so did you watch those tapes? He's like, yeah, I got all their blitzes. The tapes were blank. There was nothing on them.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Exposed.
Oh, Christ. Good times.
All right. Well, shall we go over the week that was and then make the picks?
Yeah, some other people were exposed.
Like who?
There was a fire started, and it was caused by our picks.
Oh, yeah. For the record, before we get there, nobody got over 5. You both got 4 right, I got 3. So we'll get to that later. But yeah, Jesus. Like I said, I called it opposite week because it's pretty much what it was. Start Thursday night. Don't look now. The Raiders are in playoff contention.
Yeah, I was so disappointed. I started off the week so well. What happened?
They are 5-4. They are 1 game behind the Kansas City Chiefs. Good on you, Chucky, I guess.
Yeah, they got right somehow. I don't know how, but they did.
They played a lackluster Chargers team. Don't get excited.
Lackluster? They're old.
By old, you mean Phillip Rivers is old.
Antonio Gates.
Keenan Allen. Antonio Gates retired last fucking year. You know we're talking about the 2019 season, right?
I thought he was still on the team. That's how much I follow the Chargers.
Yeah. I think the only real surprise of the 3 of, well, except you, Ice, because I know you'll make sure to say this, is that the Raiders won. I don't know. It's their division this year. All of a sudden, is surprisingly competitive. So, I guess we'll see.
Injuries will do that to a division.
Yeah. Speaking of injuries, let's just go to the 1 o'clock slate. Lions and the Bears. You made Mitch Trubisky look awesome.
2 seasons in a row.
All I have to say.
Last season he passed for 350 yards and 3 touchdowns against the Lions? Way to go, guys. But hey, remember, Patricia's a defensive genius.
Yeah. All we have been talking about all year about how the Bears have no offense. The rest of the national sports media has been echoing what we're saying, and then they look like fucking world beaters on Sunday.
Well, when your offense leaves them in the fucking red zone to starting field position, it's not hard.
Yeah, the season's over, right? If you're a Detroit fan.
All done.
Yeah, if you're making guys like Danny Dimes and Mitch Trubisky look competitive, we're done here.
But they
That's really all I have to say.
But they can sign Kaepernick and win out, man. Somewhere there's a Lions fan thinking just that. and you're a fucking idiot. Just to let you know.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Anyways.
Yeah. So let's move on to a more exciting game. The Ravens and the Bengals. It got to the point where they were like, hey, Lamar, why don't you have a seat? I do think the coolest part of this game was that play that had the 3 Heisman winners in it.
I was kind of messed up. I know the play.
I thought that was cool. and you know, whatever. Think about what you want with the new generation that's got to take a selfie for everything. I thought that was cool that they did that selfie afterwards. They all put the shades on. Oh, I mean, at that point they were fucking around, right? At that point in the game, like, let's try this. Why the fuck not? We're playing the Bengals.
That's terrible.
It's like Harbaugh had this play in his notebook that he was like kind of half done. Why not? Let's fucking try it.
At some point, didn't it look like the Harlem Globetrotters versus the Washington Generals?
Dude, the Bengals are so bad.
You just start.
I mean, I think they've proven they need AJ Green in the worst way.
Well, they need something, man.
Yeah. Joe Mixon showing up for the 3rd time this year isn't helping you either.
Well, you could have an offensive world beaters, but you let somebody score 49 points, it's going to be hard to win.
Yeah. I mean, well, part of Joe Mixon's problem is the offensive line in Cincinnati is awful. But whatever, we're giving too much airtime to the wrong team. How about Lamar?
Cat's for real, man.
Do you believe in him now, Ice?
Cat is for real. Did you see that spin move?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was sick.
Dude, it was on like every highlight reel for 3 days from this past week. Yeah.
It was.
I mean, Ravens are coming out of this division. I even dare to say they might be in the AFC Championship game playing against Tom Brady.
Uh-oh.
We know how the first meeting went.
Well, I mean, he has to be. Lamar has to be in the MVP talk.
Absolutely.
And I'm surprised that, and I'm not really sure why. There's like a segment of NFL fans that just refuse to even bring him up. And I mean, like,
he has almost 600 rushing yards, and he is a quarterback.
I mean, like, I can't even attribute it to race because these same people are pumping Russell Wilson. You know what I'm saying? If it was about race, you figure they'd be talking about McCaffrey.
Also, and
he's in that combo too. But yeah, this kid's something special. I mean, and it's good because we have had in my opinion, it seems we have had a drought of Heisman winners come into the NFL and do shit. It's about time one of them started performing.
Well, also, I mean, I think maybe the people the naysayers prefer the prototypical pocket passer, and me, I'm like, I love watching this guy. If he can't make it happen with his arm, he's going to make it happen with his legs. What's not to like?
And that's the other thing too. You can't bash him for just running because on Sunday he had almost a perfect passer rating.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not like a Michael Vick situation.
No, he is definitely an Al Davis player. He'd just win, baby, win.
It's like you said after the first game, not bad for a running back.
Yep.
Bills and the Browns. Now, I have heard...
Next.
Yeah. I've heard something that I when you go in and you look at the Bills' record, it is absolutely true. Don't believe their record. Because I just did this on the Fantasy Football Podcast, and I'll do it here right now. Let's look at who the Bills have beat, shall we? Yes, they are 6-3, and in the division they're in, they're going to get a couple more wins because they got to play Miami and the Jets again. So, or they may have already. No, Jets are their last game. So here's who the Bills have beat: the Jets, the Giants, the Bengals. They've lost to the Patriots. They beat the Titans. They beat the Dolphins. They lost to the Eagles. And they beat the Redskins. The best team they beat is 500 right now. And they weren't until this following week. So I'm not believing the hype. I know I've been the person on this podcast kind of leading the charge on the Bills because I got to give it up for their defense a little bit. But again, who have they beat? Who have they played? All of their wins this year are against shit teams, and they even lost to then they lost to a sub 500 team this Sunday.
Well, and I'm there with you. I summed the Bills season up all about who did you just lose to? The Browns, and the Browns couldn't beat anybody this year, so they should have beat everybody. They were made and drafted and traded to beat everybody. The Browns did what I wanted the Lions to do, and somehow still fucked it up.
Yeah, but Baker Mayfield's wife is now popping off to the Browns haters and fair weather fans. So, she obviously thinks that win over the Bills was akin to winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, well, looking at their schedule, they're going 9-7 because left they have the Dolphins, the Broncos. There's 2 wins. The Cowboys, there's a loss. The Ravens, there's a loss. The Steelers, there's a loss. The Patriots, there's a loss. Then they close out the season with the Jets.
So their only hope is the Dolphins and the Jets.
Yeah, they better hope. Rich. They better hope the shitty Steelers show up when they play them, because the shitty Steelers seem to have left themselves behind in October. So, yeah, man. I mean, if the Bills, if you do make it, I see it as first round fodder, because when you've played a playoff caliber team this year, you have lost. So, let's move on from them, shall we? God damn it. All right. Next up, the Chiefs and the Titans. Uh-oh. I hate the Titans. I hate them so much. They are just there to be shit stirrers.
And they always seem to avoid licking the spoon, too.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in their defense, the Chiefs didn't have Tyreek. The Chiefs didn't have Patrick. Oh, shit. Yeah, they did. Well, shit. You're out of excuses there, Chief.
Yeah, this isn't the Chiefs team of last year. One could argue. Kareem Hunt might have, look at Kareem Hunt. First game back, picked up right where he left off.
Pretty much.
Everyone seemed to forget about that video last year. Chiefs, you need a running back. That's
not funny because they benched the one that I had on my fantasy team.
Yeah, I own him too, but he's pretty much rode the bench for me. But they don't have a running back. They don't have a run game. Last year, they had a run game. This year, they do not have a run game. So, you better hope Mahomes, Kelsey, and Hill can get you to the playoffs, which they should. But they're not out of the woods yet. They don't have 9 wins yet. They could still finish under 500. It's not likely, but it's mathematically they could still have a losing season. All right, this one, here, another opposite game: Falcons and the Saints. What the fuck? Where did this come from, Falcons? My only theory is this was a division game and they got up for it.
No, you're at the wrong end. What the fuck happened, Saints? Because I'm going to do to you what I guess, because I'm going to do to you what I did to Kansas City. Well, they didn't have, they had Bruce. Well, they didn't have, they had Command. You're out of excuses, bro. You had everybody.
I think this was a division opponent just coming in ready for you. That happens all the time. In fact, I think it's going to happen again before the end of this pod. Before we finish talking about this week, we're going to talk about a division opponent getting up for the game. Although, the Falcons they're one of the worst teams in the league this year, but they did not show it against the Saints. I just think this is an anomaly for New Orleans.
They just went to the topless bar and came in with a hangover to play the game. What happened?
Yeah, they'll be fine. Do you see any other team coming out of that division? Carolina, maybe, but I think it's the Saints' world we're living in it in the NFC South. Battle of New York. We want to talk about this one. No. Yeah. Cardinals at the Bucks. Can Jameis Winston just is it like a rider in his contract? He has to get picked so many times a game.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson has 5 picks this year. Jameis Winston has that in like the last 2 games, and I don't think I'm inflating that number.
Yeah. Winston's like me playing Madden. Seriously.
Against somebody who's like, 20 levels above you.
No, the computer. Because I'm 3 yards in a cloud of dust, baby. I control the clock against the computer. Only throw it when I need to, and I'm dinking and dunking. I'm game managing like my name's Trent Dilfer. All right? Like, I swear to God, if I try to go deep, that shit gets picked like a fucking cokehead picking a fucking booger sugar-infused nugget out his nose, man. I mean, I'm just like, oh, my God, dude. And I picked them last week, and I was like, ugh, give me the Bucs. And this is exactly why. 3-point win. I didn't take this into consideration. Bucs were at home. Who's their head coach? A little bit of a revenge game, I guess.
Yeah, you know what? We did not talk about that.
Bruce Arians.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, it could have been.
Go ahead, Dice.
It could have been Fitzmagic as quarterback for the Bucs. I do not believe in Murray. We were talking about,
Heisman. He's a top 10 quarterback this year. I don't understand what this is based on.
Because he can't get it done.
He has the second most rushing yards of a quarterback, second to Lamar Jackson. He's got almost 400 rushing yards.
And what is his
He's
team?
doing his job. He's in the Cardinals.
All right, so I don't believe in them. I don't believe in Murray. I don't believe.
You can say you don't believe in the Cardinals, but Kyler Murray has done his job this year, man. Kyler Murray has done what they brought him in to do. His problem is their backfield right now is a shit show because everybody's injured. And other than Christian Kirk, who the fuck are you throwing to? 55-year-old Larry Fitzgerald?
And I don't believe in him.
Dude, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league this year. I don't understand why. I don't believe in the team around him rather than not him. He's doing his job.
Sorry, not sorry, man. You're bringing him up like he's supposed to be somebody, and I'm telling you, he's going to be just like Cam Newton.
Last year's Heisman winner, so there's that.
Don't believe he should have been, by the way. That being said, he's going to be just like Cam Newton.
We'll send your memo there to the voting committee for the Heisman. Nice. Hey, some guy in Wichita says you were wrong. I'm just saying.
Just like Baker Mayfield should have won the Heisman, right? Because he's doing so well in Cleveland.
Now this is the reverse. Yeah, he has no excuse.
Same school, same coach, same everything. Heisman, everything.
Wrong. Because in the pros, no. Because Baker Mayfield's got fucking weapons around him. Kyler Murray doesn't have shit around him. He's got the ghost of David Johnson. They brought in Kenyon. They brought in Miami's running back. So there's that. And again, he has Christian Kirk and a guy who should have retired this year as his receivers. I'm willing to bet if you upgrade the people around Kyler Murray, that team gets better.
We'll see.
Can't throw the ball to himself.
He can't throw the ball to anybody else either.
That's the problem. He's got no one to throw to. He's got a big old pile of scrubs to catch the ball for him.
Well, eventually, Cardinals are going to get their receivers and tight ends in order, even the running back game, and then we'll talk.
Dude, he's on a 3-6 team, and he's one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the league this year. I think he's going to be all right.
Time will tell. I don't think so.
The Dolphins at the Colts.
Huh?
What happened to this vaunted Colts defense?
What happened to the Dolphins tanking?
They put Fitzmagic in. Fitzmagic, for all the shit we talk, he doesn't tank,
go out like no bitch. What was the quote from last week from the NBA? Like, I don't go out like no bitch, or my mom didn't raise no bitch. That's what Fitzpatrick has in his locker.
Though. Seriously, all joking aside, that fucker does not quit.
Dude, he's a gamer.
You pay him to go play. God damn it, he's going to go play.
Yeah. Talent level aside, he's a gamer.
Dolphins, if you wanted to tank, you signed the wrong quarterback away from Tampa Bay.
Seriously.
But at this point right now, they're getting one of the top 3. They're getting Burrows, Tua, or Jalen Hurts. As long as they keep the record they have, they'll be all right. Colts, boy, do they need Jacoby Brissett, huh? You're telling me Michigan State's quarterback from 9 years ago isn't getting you there?
Oh, come on. Brian
Hoyer should have got there. Just saying.
He's a perfectly serviceable third-string quarterback. Come on, man. No one can warm the bench like him, or should be warming the bench like him.
Just because he had 1 TD pass and 3 interceptions doesn't mean a thing.
All I know is if you're a Colts fan, you got to be sitting here going, God damn it. Like, Luck retires, then you start getting like a little bit of hope, and then it's like, no, we're just also Rans. That's all the fuck we are now. Like, it's got to suck, because your expectations have been all over the place this season, haven't they? Preseason, You're thinking, man, deep playoff run, we're getting Luck back,
Getting Andrew back in the lineup, back in the game, hell yeah.
Then, yep, I'm retired, I'm done. Oh, fuck. Oh, wait, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And it turned out to be a big train coming at him.
What are you guys talking about? Because my Skype dropped for like a minute. Were we still on the Dolphins and the Colts?
Yeah, just being the ups and downs of being a Colts fan this season.
Yeah.
Like preseason, you're like, deep playoff run, and Luck retires, and then Brissett comes in. You actually, I got a little bit of hope, and then, like I said, now you're just light at the end of the tunnel. No, it's a train. Fuck. So, sorry about your luck, Colts. I would feel sorry for you, but I'm a Buccaneers fan.
Yeah, shoot, motherfucker.
Yeah. You want my sympathy, you'll find it in the dictionary between shit and syphilis, okay?
Sporgy.
ChristopherMedia.net. ChristopherMedia.net.
Sporgy.
Move on to my favorite game of the week, simply because I missed the Monday night game. Truth be told, I got up at like 2 in the morning on Monday. I was passed out by 6:30. But I heard Monday night was awesome. We'll get to it. But the Panthers and the Packers. Dude, the Panthers and if you love football, you had to love this Panthers and Packers game, especially the fourth quarter. I mean, the snow was flying. Both teams Rodgers was being Rodgers. The Panthers weren't playing scared. They're like, yeah, we're from Carolina, but fuck this snow. We don't give a fuck. Dude, I thought the fourth quarter that was off. That was, like I said, that I was a full eighth ace during that fourth quarter. If you love football, this is why you watch. It was the fourth quarter of this game.
You're fully engorged.
Yeah. Although by one question to Carolina on that last drive, why are we not putting the ball in the hands of the potential MVP more?
What is it with teams not trusting their running backs?
I mean, I get it. You had the snow. You had to play dink and dunk. You were getting a few long passes off to DJ Moore here and there, but when the snow started flying, it just turned into like dink and dunk. And dink and dunk, tight ends and running backs are supposed to thrive. I mean, good for Greg Olsen. He had a game like it was 5 years ago, but you have one of the, arguably, at least in fantasy football, I'm not sure about the rest of the league, he is the best player in the league. Why did we not give him the ball? You waited till that final play, which I think he made it, but the home team always gets the call. So I did not understand that.
I don't know. Welcome to the new NFL, man. I don't know. I mean,
+2. If he scores that touchdown, I would have won a whole bunch of money in my FanDuel league. I got a league where 7 of us play against each other every week. That touchdown, I would have won like $60. Could have used it. But dude, I love this game. And gentlemen, can I get some love on the Packers, please? I was the only one back at the end of August who was believing in them.
Oh, yeah.
Number 12's out there. You got a shot.
I believe the hype. I believed all the scuttlebutt and water cooler talk that, Rodgers wasn't happy and was undermining the new head coach and everythone, and well, an 8-2 record says differently. So, or if he was,
everyone forgets.
If he was, it didn't make a difference.
Everyone forgets. Everyone was talking about everyone forgets Rodgers played last year injured. Rodgers was not Rodgers last year. Rodgers was playing hurt most of the year. And now, too, I think they got their triplets, so to speak. They got him, they got Adams, and Aaron Jones. There's another guy that's being talked about for MVP. Dude, how many touchdowns does this guy fucking have?
I don't know off the top of my head.
NFC North, it's going to be fun to watch the Packers and the Vikings play each other this year. I'll tell you that. Rams and Steelers.
Just so we're clear, if we're going to talk about records and are they for real or not, the Packers beat the Bears. Well, they did beat the Vikings. I digress. The Broncos lost to the Eagles. They beat the Cowboys. They beat the Lions by 1 point. They beat the Raiders. They beat the Chiefs. Oh. They lost to the Chargers and then beat the Panthers at Lambeau in the snow. Sorry, not sorry, man. No, I still don't believe him. He'll get there.
Why? I'm counting 1, 2, 3,
he'll
4,
get
5.
there, but
5 teams. 5 out of your 8 wins are teams with winning records.
no, dude, he'll get you there, but that's it.
5, based on what? 5 out of your 8 wins are teams with winning records. This is not the Buffalo Bills, sir.
No,
Vikings
it's
have
not.
a winning record. Eagles have a winning record. Cowboys have a winning record. Well, they better play better. The Raiders have a winning record. The Chiefs have a winning record. The Panthers have a winning record.
But they haven't, other than the Chiefs, and the Chiefs weren't at full strength, haven't beat a powerhouse. Now, I get it.
Well,
He's Rodgers. That's
they are
why
one of
they
the
have the
powerhouses.
record they have. Listen, they have Rodgers, and that's why they have the record they have. He always has to find a way with a Hail Mary or a sideline pass that just defies physics. I get it. But when push comes to shove, he's not going to get it to a powerhouse team. If he plays New England, if he plays San Francisco.
Well, they're going to play San Francisco on Thursday night for Thanksgiving. So
Making my call now, it'll
Sunday.
be San Francisco.
I think they'll beat San Francisco. I think
We'll see.
they have a better offense than San Francisco. They also have a healthy offense. Really, Emmanuel Sanders is hurt. Matt Breida is hurt. You think Deebo Samuel's getting the job done for you if you're the Niners?
No, but I do think
Against
by the
the
time
Packers?
by the time they play the Packers, they will all be healthy.
That's in
It's just
2
a
weeks,
bruised
dude.
rib. It's a bruised rib. He'll be back this week.
what's it going to take?
Prove me wrong. That's what it's going to take.
I hate to break it to you. They're going to be at most here. They're going to be 13-3. You know the rest of their schedule? The 49ers, the Giants, the Redskins, the Bears, the Vikings, and the Lions.
Right. Other than
The worst
49ers,
I see there is 12-4.
Other than the 49ers, name me a world beater. Name me a powerhouse team.
Minnesota's going to be going to the playoffs. Chiefs are going to the playoffs. More than likely, the Cowboys are going to the playoffs. Panthers more than likely will be going to the playoffs.
Green Bay will get there, and that's all they'll get.
I'm daring.
I'll give credit where credit's due. They're great in the season.
I'm daring to say they'll be in the NFC Championship game.
Negative, Ghost Rider. The pattern is full.
They have Aaron Rodgers, sir.
We'll see.
All right.
It's not the Patriots. A quarterback is not enough.
Devontae Adams, Aaron Jones.
We'll see.
All right. Vikings and Cowboys.
Yikes.
2 teams the Packers have beat. 2 teams that both have winning records.
I think my favorite meme right now that involving the Cowboys is, and yes, it's a severely overused meme, but I'm amazed at the new ways people come up with to use it. Is the lady yelling at the cat? The lady's yelling, "Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl." The cat's going, "Not without tickets, they ain't." And that's about how I feel about the Cowboys. I'm sorry. 5-4. All the shit talk that I had to hear from America's teams fans. Just whatever. Okay.
Look, the Cowboys need a defense, okay? And Dak, I swear to Christ, if you don't start playing right, sir, you're going to get a contract, but it won't be on the Dallas Cowboys.
How is 397 yards and 3 touchdowns not playing?
Mr. Statsman, because the final fucking score was 24-28. That's how.
Okay, again, 397 and 3 TDs. That's doing your job. I'd say letting 28 points by is on the defense.
1 interception. 3-1. You're
Okay.
50% passer. You're 28 of 46. So good for you in your time of possession that you can get 400 passing yards.
I just want to know how
Dude, that's like
397 and 3
Westbrook
TDs isn't
averaging a
playing.
triple-double and not even making the fucking playoffs, Hoss.
How is that not playing? We went over this with Russell Westbrook. There's 4 other guys. He's one guy. You can't lay the entire team's performance at the foot of one person.
You can when it's the fucking quarterback of the team.
That's again. He did 397 and 3 TDs. How is that not doing your job? If
Because
that's
he also had
you
one
have a boner.
interception. Because he had one interception and the final score, once again, 28-24. That's how.
He don't play
I don't
defense.
care if you have 1,000 yards in the air.
He
and
doesn't play
10
defense.
And 10
Offense did not let 28 points by.
When the clock strikes 0, if my score isn't above the opposing score, you didn't do your job.
I'm gonna remember you saying that and use it against you a lot.
Okay.
To lay the Cowboys' performance at the feet of Dak Prescott is just dishonest, dude. He's doing his job. Yeah, I mean, Amari Cooper, 11 receptions, 147 yards. Hey, come on. Minnesota just played better. I mean, it was the Dalvin Cook show. They bottled up Zeke. In this game, Minnesota was just the better team.
So why is it when it's Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers, he just finds a way, and that makes Green Bay great? But when we get to Dallas, Dak Prescott's okay with losing because he still did his job and loses.
Because he's doing his job. Again, He doesn't play defense. You could put Patrick Mahomes on the Lions and he'd throw for 500 yards every game, but if he's playing behind that defense, he ain't going to win many of them.
We'll see how it shakes out. I don't think he's doing his job.
All right. So the Monday night game.
Let's
game
talk
I missed.
about not doing your job.
Okay, tell me. I missed the game. Go ahead. Allegedly, so far, what I've heard is this has been the best football game this year. Is that correct?
This was the best game of the year. And what sucks is it comes down to a rookie kicker who couldn't handle the pressure. McLaughlin was signed early because Robbie Gould got hurt. And he kicked it with 4 seconds left to kick him into overtime for San Francisco. And they fucked up Wilson. They intercepted him on the fucking 2-yard line, ran it back, and Jimmy Garofalo got him all the way up, got it all set up. Everything was gravy. He had a 47-yard fucking field goal that he had to make. Fucking whiffed. It didn't have half a chance to hit that goalpost. It went so far left, it looked like a NASCAR driver.
Well, 47 yards ain't exactly a chip shot, man.
Well, you could come a little closer than the fucking sideline, bro.
Are we really, with the stats of being on this game, are we really talking about the kickers?
Yeah. Because that's what it came down to, was those two kickers. San Francisco outplayed Seattle the first half. Seattle came back and started beating the shit out of San Francisco the second half. They slowed them up. They caught up. Everything was gravy. Went into overtime, still beating Seattle. All the way to the interception. Had them beat. All the kicker had to do was make a 47-yard field goal, and he didn't come close.
But again, dude, that 47 ain't a chip shot, man. It's almost 10 yards outside of field goal range.
Oh, I get you. It wasn't. But he made one to send it into overtime. And it went, hey, diddle diddle, right down the middle. This one was to win the game. He makes this game over. That's it. I don't care how much time's on the clock. We're in overtime. Done. And he blew it. He blew it so much that you know it was nerves and nothing else. Like I said, you could come closer to the goalpost than the fucking sideline. Because that's where the ball landed after he kicked it. It hooked that far left. The pressure just got to him. And then Russell Wilson looks like a world beater and MVP and all this, and everybody's talking about it. And the man had like 6 chances before he finally won the game. You talk about the Lions, give them 6 chances. They'll eventually pick one and win.
Yeah, no, they won't. It's the Lions. Come on now.
I'm just saying, man. They had
really talking shit about the guy who's like the leading candidate for MVP this year.
I absolutely am, because they had him beat. Had him beat like 3 times, and they lost. They couldn't handle the pressure.
Seattle won. What are you talking about?
Seattle won. We're watching the game helps you understand what I'm trying to tell you. Yes,
I'm going to default to the argument that you just gave me in the last game. The stat that counts is the one at the end of the game. They got the W, right?
I don't dispute that. You're 100% right. They lost. They could not handle the pressure. But it took 4 to 6 tries before Russell Wilson actually won the game. His kicker, by the way, won the game for him.
They're playing the fucking Bengals, dude. They're playing the defense this year that's second only to the Patriots. It's not like they played a shit defense, man.
I'm with you.
It sucks when he's playing one of the best defenses in the league. Again, we're being dishonest, man.
I'm not being dishonest. It was a great game. It was an amazing game all around. It just sucks that it comes down to 2 kickers. And the rookie couldn't handle it in the pressure. He got thrown in the pressure cooker. Kick this, win the game, stay perfect on the season. And he couldn't handle it.
I mean, I didn't see San Francisco winning this game anyway.
I did. Had it been Robbie Gould, could have been a different tale.
Well, either way, it means Don Shula sleeping real well. He had 2 scares this year. Man's going to go to his grave more than likely being the best coach ever.
Yeah, but I mean, you like the stats, Russell Wilson and Jimmy Garoppolo had damn near identical stats.
Mm-hmm.
Wilson was 24 of 34. Garoppolo was 24 of 46. Garoppolo had 248 yards. Wilson had 232. They each had a touchdown. They each had an interception. It was a great game. It was amazing to watch. I was 100% into it. And I'm like on the edge of my seat at the end of regulation going, oh, make this. You'll be a god. And just being a rookie, you'll be a god. And he did. McLaughlin, right down the fucking middle. Got into overtime. I'm like, okay, now you're about to be like master of the universe god. Make this. You just made this not even 10 minutes ago. And dude, you look up that fucking kick. I'm not kidding you. He kicked it and it landed on the left fucking sideline. Didn't go anywhere near the fucking pole. His nerves got to him so bad.
Talking about the kickers and there's
what else did you want to talk about?
San Francisco defense.
Okay, but the final score was 24-27. It wasn't
rating on the year.
It was you beat them up both sides.
You haven't figured it out. By now, if you want to talk about something going into this show, he's going to find a way to turn it into something that you don't want to talk about. You haven't figured it out by now?
I'm just baffled. Yeah. Something that's been called the best football game of the year. We're talking about the fucking kickers.
Like I said, what do you want it to come down to? It was coming down to the kicker. It didn't come down to like Aaron Rodgers Hail Mary or, oh my fucking God, did you see that catch? Yeah, San Francisco's defense beat the shit out of Russell Wilson. They beat him. They even intercepted it in overtime. Ran it back. Jimmy Garoppolo got it down there. 47-yard field goal. Not even close. That's what it came down to, and it was unfortunate. And I said that at the start of this talk. It was a great game. It's just unfortunate that it came down to kickers because you have the league MVP chant for Wilson. You have a guy in Garoppolo who's only lost 2 games ever. Ever.
No. False.
Yes. No, true, because they said that during the broadcast. He's like 18-2 as a starter.
I swore that he lost more than 2 games last year before he got injured. You sure about that?
That's what they said on the broadcast. He was like 18 or 19-2 as a starter. So it was set up to be a great game, and it was. It absolutely was. But it didn't come down to Wilson or Garoppolo. The whole show, everything involved came down to 2 kickers. One couldn't handle the pressure, one did. And just barely, because Seattle's was just inside the right upright. It was almost a tie.
I'm trying to look up the guy's record here.
Oh, with his loss on Monday, he had 3 as a starter.
You know, I'm using Wikipedia. Why the fuck am I not using Pro Football Reference? Okay, yeah. Checks out. He's 16-3 in his career. Wow. I thought he only played 2 games last year. I thought he played more than that, but he did get injured pretty early. Alrighty, there I go again, thinking I know more than the guys who do this for a living. So, all right, well, let's make our picks then for Week 11 and get the fuck out of here. Because we've been going, I think we definitely breached 3 hours this week. So,
Chris, but you're right, man. I don't want to minimize it, but it sucks that it comes down to that. Because that game was so much better than field goal. All I'm saying, and what I took away from that game is, don't judge San Francisco on this loss. And don't make Wilson the MVP on this win.
Actually, you know what? Before we get into the picks, I want to play the Buffalo Bills game with the 49ers. Just look here. Who have the 49ers beat besides everyone they played till this week? Buccaneers, Bengals, Steelers, Browns, Rams, Redskins, Panthers, Cardinals. The best teams they've beaten are over 500, or one game over 500. The first team that they played that was more than one game over 500, they lost. So, ooh. And you want to hear the rest of their schedule? Packers, Ravens, Saints, Falcons, Rams, Seahawks. Ooh. You know what? If we're going to know they're for real, and then the Cardinals this week. So if we're going to know they're for real, it's gonna be in the next month because they got to play the Packers, Ravens, and the Saints after they play the Cardinals this week. Mm-hmm. So we will know if San Francisco is for real by December 15th because wow, that's a huge test. Actually, it's pretty daunting for any team, really. If I was the Lions, I'd be like, well, there's 3 losses. So, all right.
Hey, also before the picks, I heard that I read that the Astros' former pitcher, do you know his name? Fires? Is it Fires? F-I-E-R-S?
Like the guy that was on the Tigers?
I don't know. Maybe. Probably.
Didn't he go to Oakland? Was he in Oakland this year? Or was that last year?
He's a former Astros pitcher.
Okay, and what about him?
He said that the Houston Astros electronically stole pitches, and the Astros and the MLB has opened an investigation into his claims.
Well,
we talked baseball like 3 hours ago, right?
Sounds like something we should talk about next week when they've actually done some investigating. Thank you for a preview of next week's show. Can we move on to the picks, please?
If we must.
Baseball was first, man. All right, so the picks. Thursday night game, Steelers and the Browns. This is a great game in the 80s. This week, okay, damn it. You'd think after 3 years I'd stop doing this. Rich, you are still in first. You have a 583 winning percentage. You are 67-47-1. Ice, you are in second at, god damn it, at 65-49-1, 565. I'm still in third, 530-61, 53-1. All right, so yeah. What order are we picking in, Rich?
Ice, you, me.
All right. Steelers, Browns? Steelers.
Yeah. God damn it. We left them for dead, and they're doing what they fucking always do. They're coming on in the second half. I still don't think they're as formidable as they were when Big Ben's behind there, but, I mean, the Steelers, I think, realized early on their offense was in trouble, and they have they have shored up that defense like a motherfucker. So, yeah, give me the Steelers.
Yeah, and the Browns still prove you could put anybody on the Browns, and, well, they're the Browns.
Yeah, Steelers.
All right. Next up, coming all the way from Dallas, Texas to Detroit, Michigan. Dallas Cowboys taking on the Detroit Lions.
Hell yeah, boy. Give me the fucking Cowboys. Unless we get Colin Kaepernick on Saturday. Then you still give me Dallas.
Unless a running back falls out of the sky and onto our roster, I'm taking the Cowboys.
Yeah, Cowboys.
Wasn't it you that sent the pic of Ty Johnson on the Bears bench?
When you're sick of your team losing.
It's like, fuck this. I play for Chicago now. I'm sitting over here with the winners.
The sad part is he's probably so concussed he didn't realize what bench he was on. Probably
right.
what was really happening.
Next up, Jags at the Colts.
Jags?
By the way, ESPN, they still got Gardner Minshew listed as their players to watch. What, we can't get an intern to update, Nick Foles' stat line? if Brissett is...
Wait.
See, we don't know.
Is Minshew not starting it? I'm going to have to go with Jaguars. Yeah.
No, Foles is the starter. Foles was named the starter 2 weeks ago before the bye.
Still going with the Jags.
Yeah, I just... Even if T.Y. Hilton comes back, Brian Hoyer's still your quarterback, give me the Jags.
I can't disagree with anything either of you guys said. The Jags.
Yeah, when your touchdown and interception says 1-3 instead of 3-1, you're in trouble.
Yeah. Bills at the Dolphins.
Ooh.
On the fantasy football show, we told you start all Bills. Boy.
This one's actually tough.
Still not the worst matchup of the week, though.
Yeah.
No, it isn't. I know, I see it. But Bills?
Oh, no question about it. They already beat the Dolphins. They'll beat them again. Bills.
Yeah, but they didn't beat the Dolphins with Fitzmagic.
That's true.
Bills.
Well, I will tell you, while I did sit here and talk massive amounts of shit about the Bills earlier, they are the only team that has not allowed a pass more than 100 yards. Think about that. Broncos and Vikings.
Can you pass for more than 100 yards on a field? Just ask them for a friend.
No, I believe in a game, sir. I worded that wrong.
Yeah,
anyway,
you did.
Broncos and Vikings. With
Vikings.
the language parser. Yes. I will also take the Vikings.
Same here. I feel like I should play a reverse card.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like,
I'm pretty much in lockstep again.
I know. It's like, let's see if our picks stay the same if I hit reverse.
I'm going to pick no matter where I pick.
But, I mean, in our third year of doing this, I think it's our third year, 2016, 2017. Oh, this is technically our fourth time doing this. But, doesn't it seem that's how it always gets by the end? By the end, by the time the league is shaken out how it's supposed to, we're generally always picking the same teams. NFC South going at each other this week. It starts with the Saints and the Bucks.
Saints?
Yeah, don't care that the Bucks are at home. Drew Brees is going to be pissed. He's going to throw for like 600 yards and 7 touchdowns. Give me the Saints.
Yes, give me the Saints. Enjoy your win last week, guys.
Yeah. And here is the worst matchup of the week. The Jets at the Redskins.
Jets, Jets, Jets.
As much as I hate to say this, yeah, because their offense is at least, what's the word? Healthy, existent. Yeah, I'll take the Jets.
God damn it. Yeah, the Jets.
Come on. None of us. This game's giving you no reason to pick them.
I'm saying,
and some of these,
if I was picking third, you can't pick the Redskins.
Well, and some of these games are picking themselves. Like, these last two games have picked themselves. The Vikings at the Broncos picked itself. You know, here's another one that's going to pick itself. The Falcons at the Panthers.
Panthers? I don't know what the hell they ate before they got to New Orleans, but they ain't going to have the same course heading to Panthersville, so.
Yeah, because you know why? They were playing Devontae Freeman and then some guy named Brian Hill, the Saints, but you have CMC this week with fucking luck. I mean, so yeah, because too also with the Saints, the Falcons were playing. Let's face, Alvin Kamara has not been 100% healthy all year, so there was that. But you are not stopping CMC. Give me the Panthers.
Yeah, Panthers.
Shootout alert.
Uh-oh.
Texans at the Ravens.
Can I take a mulligan? I'll break it because I know you guys are going to go Ravens. I'm going to take the Texans.
Yeah, you're right. I'm going Baltimore because no J.J. Watt.
Well, you know, I mean, the Ravens did release their punt returner, Cyrus Jones, this week. So that's going to, he's a game breaker. So, the fucking Ravens. Get out of here.
Yeah, and again, you embarrassed Tom Brady on national television. That counts for something. Cardinals at the Niners.
Niners.
Yeah. Here's another one that picks itself.
Yeah. Niners.
God damn it. Here's another one that picks itself. Ravens at the Bengals. Or, I'm sorry, Raiders at the Bengals.
Raiders.
Either one picks itself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Give Raiders, man.
Raiders. Aren't the Raiders at home?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
Chucky's going 6-4. This game, I think, is going to be a lot better than people think it's going to be. Pats at the Eagles.
Yeah, it's going to be. Pats.
I mean, I didn't say Philadelphia was going to win, but yeah, I'm taking the Pats.
yeah, give me the Pats on this.
The over-under is at 44.5, and I think that's too high. Put it that way.
Yeah.
Here's another game where the over-under's at 41, and I think it's a little high. Bears at the Rams.
Oh, definitely take the under. Give me the Rams.
Yeah, again, the Rams have an offense. Bears do not. Taking the Rams.
Yeah, Bears aren't playing the Lions this week. Give me the Rams.
The Rams in an off year are better than the Lions in a good year. And then the Monday night game, Chiefs at the Chargers.
Give me the one that starts with a C. Chiefs. Obviously, Chiefs. You got to go with the Chiefs.
Oh, man. So, you know what? Fuck it. YOLO. Someone's got to break ranks. Give me the Chargers. Chargers got a run game. Chiefs don't. And the Chargers got a better defense.
Oh, you're
real. How do I get that? Really? Melvin Gordon is better than anyone toting the rock for the Chiefs. That's all I'm getting at.
You're on that island on your own, bro. Give me the Chiefs.
On Charger Island with Boltman. It's me and Boltman hanging out. And he has to wear the costume. That is a non-starter.
See, now I don't feel so bad taking the Texans.
Yeah. And then the college game. Michigan State.
Give me the home team. Michigan.
Yeah, an act of God wins this game for Sparty. Give me the Wolverines. Oh, I feel so dirty saying that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm picking the Wolverines, but like I said, I ain't going to be shocked by anything that happens.
I'm with you. I would, like I said, after how they collapsed against Illinois, I wouldn't be surprised if the Spartans won this game. Do I think it's likely? No.
Exactly, yeah.
But, I mean, the fucking Titans beat the Chiefs last week, so anything's possible. All right. Picks are in. 4 teams on a bye this week. Packers, Titans, Giants, Seahawks. All right. So we are well over 3 hours, so I'm going to trapdoor us. Thanks for listening. We are on social media at Sporty Podcast. Email is sportypodcast, chrismedia.net. Check out the Fantasy Hack on Wednesdays. Me, JR from the Beer Nuts, and his son Jack talk fantasy football. We are on Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google Play, Christopher Media, the iHeartRadio app, Stitcher, and some shit I'm sure I'm probably forgetting. Thank you for listening. New shows on Thursdays, and we will see you next week.
Later, guys.
Peace out, yo.
All right, I'm about to bust. I got to piss. I got to go.
Just send me that when you can, dude.
Yep.
Later, guys.
Later, guys.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net. ChristopherMedia.net.
If you like this show, please tell a friend. Please make sure to rate and comment on all your favorite Christopher Media shows. Please follow us on Twitter and like and share us on Facebook. You can subscribe to all ChristopherMedia.net shows for free on ChristopherMedia.net. Thank you for listening, and thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.